Chapter 206. The next day, Jiang Changkong continued to study the starry text. Ji Shuiyue had to make some arrangements. She wasn't sure if she could deal with the people the other party invited in 2 days. Although Jiang Changkong was strong, he only recognized star stones. What if he increased the price when he saw that she wasn't strong enough? Her star stones didn't come from a river. She had to work hard. As the little genius of the Sea family, she had her own pride. Jiang Changkong didn't care about this. He only knew that there would be a fierce battle in 2 days. Professor Yin said to make arrangements. He only saw Professor Yin bury something near the research base. He didn't know what it was, but he was sure that it wasn't firearms. But seeing that they were so relaxed, Jiang Changkong didn't worry anymore and focused on studying the starry text. The major forces were also collecting star stones to give to Su Xingheng. Yao Ming and Nan Tianping also moved here. As for Li Changtian and Ji Qingming, he didn't bother to take care of them. These 2 guys couldn't be friends. 2 days passed quickly. It was very peaceful. The major forces restrained themselves and didn't make a move. In the evening, Ji Shuiyue sent a letter. Si Xianxing and Yuan Shida had left the Sea family base. Si Ximing and Ji Youngsung were guarding the base. Go if you have something to do, Professor Yin said indifferently. No one can hurt me in Ruashi here. Jiang Changkong frowned. I'll go after I clean up the major forces first. You're thinking too much, Professor Yin said indifferently. 2 sets of armor appeared in his hands. Top of the 6th rank. It's not enough. Jiang Changkong shook his head. What if I add this? A transparent ball appeared in Professor Yin's hands. It was the same as the one he had buried before. What's the use of this? Jiang Changkong asked doubtfully. Try it. Professor Yin smiled. Jiang Changkong raised his palm, and a golden star power flew out. Buzz! The golden star power flew out uncontrollably. It changed direction and disappeared into the ball. The transparent ball also had a tinge of gold. Jiang Changkong was shocked. This thing can absorb star power? Our research facility has been established for so many years. How can we not have our own methods? Professor Yin said coldly. If it wasn't for the fact that I don't want to return to the city, I would have brought the mecha out. Jiang Changkong. I suddenly realized that you were the most powerful one. Mech. Jiang Changkong had been living and eating at the research center for the past few days. He had already understood what grade the mecha belonged to. To be able to be called a mech, it had to be at least of high quality. A high-tier mecha was equivalent to a high-tier martial artist. Taking out a mecha was pure bullying. It was no loss for him to recognize this teacher. The other party had the strength to crush him. Jiang Changkong wiped his sweat and left the research institute without hesitation. Si Xianxing and Gue De left the Sea family stronghold and headed out of the abyss. Su Xingheng left the Su family and did not join the other leaders in attacking the research institute. He quickened his pace and met up with Xue Xianxing and Xue Xianxing. Lord, Su Xingheng said respectfully. Si Xianxing nodded slightly. Did you bring the star stones? They're all here. Su Xingheng took out a ring and handed it over. Si Xianxing looked it over and nodded in satisfaction. Good. Let's go and pick them up. Then we'll kill Jiang Changkong. Lord, Nie Shuiyue is already dead. The Sea family will definitely not let Jiang Changkong off. Why do we have to spend so much effort to kill him? Su Xingheng asked doubtfully. That's because one of them wants to kill Jiang Changkong. In order to hide his identity, everyone here will die except us. Si Xuanqing's expression was cold. Remember, when we fight later, if you recognize the person's identity, don't say a word. Otherwise, even I won't be able to save you. Yes, Su Xingheng replied respectfully with a serious expression. However, he was puzzled. Did he recognize the person? Who among the people he knew could kill Jiang Changkong? None at all. Rumble. Suddenly, a shocking cold air erupted and the ground cracked. A long sword pierced through the air and blocked the three's path. Moonstar power? Jiang Changwe? The three's expressions changed at the same time. My good third uncle. Uncle Duh, how long has it been since we last met? You can't even recognize your niece? A cold voice resounded. The bright moon above Nye Shiyue's head brought with it a sky full of cold air as she walked over. Everywhere she passed, everything was frozen, and the surroundings turned into a silvery white space. Shiyue, how could it be you? The three's expressions changed drastically. Si Xianqing said in disbelief, "Impossible. I checked. You were already dead at that time. You haven't become a heaven's pride. How much could your little sister tell you?" Nye Shiyue clasped her hands behind her back, her expression extremely cold. "Why do you want to kill me? Go to hell and ask. Since he didn't die, your uncle, will personally send you to hell." Si Xianqing shouted coldly. "You've all forgotten about me." Jiang Changkong descended from the sky like a blazing sun. Boundless scorching flames were cast down, turning the surroundings into a sea of fire. "You guys!" Si Xianqing and the other two were horrified. How did these two get together? "Jiang Changkong, capture him alive," Nye Shiyue said coldly. "All right," Jiang Changkong agreed. He stepped forward like a beam of golden light and slammed down with his palm. "Kill him. Hold on. With their speed, they'll be here soon." Si Xianqing surged the star power in his body and shot it out. "Unfortunately, you won't be able to hold on for even a second." Jiang Changkong snorted and slammed down with his palm. Poochie! Crackle! With a loud explosion, a violent palm energy swept out. The three were sent flying back while vomiting blood. Their bones shattered, and they fell in front of Nye Shiyue like mud. "Third uncle, can you tell me now?" Nye Shiyue looked down at the three with a cold expression. "Who told you to do this? How dare you lay your hands on your own niece? Kill me if you want." Si Xuanqing's expression was cold. "He'll be here soon. You and Jiang Changkong won't be able to live. Yuan Mingde, the Si family has treated you well. I also respect you as Uncle Mingde. Is this how you repay me and the Si family?" Nye Shiyue looked at Yuan Mingde. Yuan Mingde closed his eyes and sighed. "Miss, I also used to call Miss Emotion that. So it's because of my aunt." Nye Shiyue's expression was cold. She only had herself to blame. She walked the wrong path and was imprisoned in the Sin realm. She deserved it. Si Xianqing was silent. He didn't explain. This doesn't seem to have anything to do with Nye Shiyue. Since she deserved it, why are you blaming Nye Shiyue? Jiang Changkong walked over. If Si Xianqing tried to explain, even if his heart was twisted and he thought it had something to do with Nye Shiyue, he could still understand their actions. But now, Si Xianqing didn't explain at all. He clearly admitted that it was his sister who walked the wrong path. If that was the case, why did they still attack Nye Shiyue? "Uncle Mingde, tell me, how did I let you down?" Nye Shiyue asked again. "Miss, Yuan Mingde opened his mouth, but was interrupted by Si Xuanqing's sigh. "Shuiyu, third uncle has let you down. I can only use your life to exchange for your aunt's freedom." Nye Shiyue was startled. She blurted out, "Freedom? If she was imprisoned in the Sin realm, how could she have freedom?" While she was bewildered, two powerful auras swept over. The ice shattered and the ground trembled. Two figures, dressed in black and with their faces covered, walked over slowly with their heads lowered. "Who are you?" Nye Shiyue's expression changed. She immediately retreated to Jiang Changkong's side. She could feel an extremely strong pressure from the two of them. No, it should be one of them. One of them had an extremely terrifying pressure. It was even stronger than Jiang Changkong's. As for the other person, although his aura was equally strong, it was far from Jiang Changkong's. With sufficient preparation, she still had some confidence. "It's you." Su Xingheng, who was paralyzed, had his eyes wide open. He looked at one of the black, clothed men in disbelief. Chapter 207. Su Xingheng recognized the person immediately. His old face was full of fear. Before he finished, a pale sword aura suddenly appeared and slashed at Su Xingheng. Bang! The golden light shone, and the pale sword aura dissipated. The golden blade aura drowned out the aftermath. "You want to kill me? Ask me first." Jiang Changkong stepped in front of Su Xingheng and the other two, looking indifferently at the man in black. He was very strong. If he only used the blazing sun art, he probably wouldn't be able to take him down. "You're Jiang Changkong?" The person who had attacked took a step forward, a terrifying aura brewing. Jiang Chankong's expression was cold. Not bad. Tell me your name, and I'll erect a monument for you. The man's face was hidden in his black clothes. His voice was cold. You're no match for me. Tell Jiang Changyue to come out. Who is he? Han Shuiyue kicked Su Xingheng. The man in black gave her too much pressure. This time, Su Xingheng kept his mouth shut, not daring to say another word. He was afraid that if he angered the man in black, he would really be killed. At this moment, he finally understood why Yin Xianqing said he could recognize him. Not just him, any peak astral spirit in the Tranquil province will be able to recognize this person. An impression that was engraved in his bones, an unforgettable person. You want to know where Changyue is? Let's see if you have the guts to follow me. Jiang Chankong soared into the sky and hovered in the air, looking down at the black-robed man. Lead the way, the man in black said coldly. Another man in black pulled him back and said solemnly, Be careful. No one in the world is a match for me as long as they don't show up. The man in black said proudly and jumped away. White light flashed under his feet. As he ran, he wasn't any slower than Jiang Chankong's flying speed. After the two left, the man in black looked at Han Shuiyue. In that case, I'll send you on your way too. We don't know who will send who on their way yet, Han Shuiyue said coldly. She raised her hand, and a few silver stones flew out, scattering in all directions. The stone fell, and the power of the lunar stars surged into the sky. They connected with each other, crisscrossing and forming mysterious patterns. With a loud bang, the lunar star's power violently surged out. Special patterns also appeared on Ji Shuiyue's body, resonating with it. In an instant, her aura soared and her star force surged. Her long hair fluttered in the wind. Her strength had actually skyrocketed. The moon star formation can't change your fate. The black-clothed man shouted angrily. Golden flames surged. It was actually the aura of the blazing sun. On the other side, Jiang Chankong led the black-clothed man all the way to the depths of the abyss. Even deeper was a stretch of darkness. No one knew what was inside. It was enough here. No one would disturb them. The scorching sun hung high in the sky, illuminating the surroundings. The black-robed man's robes fluttered in the wind, and a myriad of white lights appeared around his body, quickly condensing into white clouds. Where's Jiang Changyue? The man in black asked coldly. You can't see him, and you can't leave this place. Jiang Chankong's expression was indifferent. He grasped the air with his right hand, and a long saber appeared in his hand. The black-clothed man flipped his hand, and a long sword appeared in his hand. With a wisp of ethereal energy, his body flashed, and he was extremely fast. Jiang Chankong raised his eyebrows. He turned the blade in front of him and blocked the attack. Clank! The saber and the sword collided. The black-clothed man retreated, but he attacked again in the blink of an eye. Jiang Chankong's saber moved, and the scorching sun followed it. Clank! The saber and the sword collided again. Jiang Chankong felt a strong force approaching him, and he couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Before he could steady himself, the long sword arrived again. Clank! The saber and the sword collided again. The black-clothed man's body suddenly split up, and he was surrounded by other black-clothed figures. So fast, Jiang Chankong's heart skipped a beat. The astral power in his body surged out, and a sense of danger came from all directions. They weren't illusions. They were all real attacks. The violent astral power swept out, and the power of the black-clothed man's sword suddenly surged. Boom! 2 powerful astral powers attacked him, and the black-clothed man retreated. The astral power around him dissipated, and he turned into white clouds. Many white clouds appeared and floated in the air, blocking the scorching sun and the black-clothed man. Jiang Chankong took a few steps back, and he looked forward with a serious look. It was a vast expanse of white clouds. The scorching sun couldn't penetrate the white clouds, and he couldn't find the black-clothed man hiding in the clouds. Jiang Chankong thought of something, and he praised. You're so powerful. You're a heavenly talent. I hate your tone. A cold voice came from the white clouds. The white clouds swooped over, swallowed the scorching sun, and enveloped Jiang Changkong. The moment the white clouds approached him, a murderous vibe came. Jiang Changkong turned his blade and blocked the pale blade aura. The powerful sword energy made him take a few steps back again. The murderous vibe came from behind him again. Jiang Changkong used his astral power, waved his saber, and barely blocked the blade aura. You can predict the enemy's moves, but unfortunately, you're not as fast as my sword. The cold voice came from all directions, and no one could figure out where it came from. And heavenly talent has become a lackey. How sad. Jiang Changkong blocked a blade, aura, and mocked. You can't mess up my state of mind. The pale blade, aura, and the surrounding white clouds turned the world pale. The sun's astral power could only penetrate the nearby white clouds, but it couldn't disperse them. Jiang Changkong didn't panic. You still have a chance to escape before my patience runs out. Escape? What a joke. I'll kill you today. The pale blade, aura, shot over, and the surrounding clouds were suddenly filled with murderous vibe. Rays of blade, aura flew out from the white clouds. Then, as you wish, Jiang Changkong shouted. He didn't hold back anymore. The sun rose into the sky, and at the same time, a gust of cold air spread out. The moon shone, and the moon was cold. The sun shone, and the sun was hot. The sun and the moon were in the same sky. The moon and the sun appeared at the same time, but they didn't clash. Instead, they lived in peace. A vast Tai Chi diagram spread out from his body, swallowing the yin and yang, and turned into a gold and silver Tai Chi diagram. Rumble. The moment the gold and silver Tai Chi diagram was formed, the surrounding clouds exploded, and the blade, aura, flew back. Endless starlight shone, piercing through the clouds. The moon and the sun? An unbelievable shout was heard, and a terrifying power spread out. Under the pale blade, aura, a figure quickly retreated. The white clouds dissipated, and the yin and yang merged. The gold and silver Tai Chi diagram covered the sky like a curtain. Jiang Changkong flew up and stood on the Tai Chi diagram, and the astral power in his body surged out. Boundless energy of extreme yin and extreme yang descended from the Tai Chi diagram, turning into beams of sword light and saber light as they slammed down. The man in black moved like a phantom, dodging the blade aura with each step. Kill! Piercing the clouds. The man in black shouted and activated his astral power. The pale blade aura shot into the sky. Universe diversion. Jiang Changkong didn't move, but the gold and silver Tai Chi diagram spun under his feet. Buzz. The pale blade aura stopped when it got close to the Tai Chi diagram, and part of its power dissipated. The next moment, the rest of the blade aura reversed. It was 80% of the original power. How is this possible? The man in black's expression changed, and his astral power surged out. With a loud bang, the blade aura shattered, and the endless yin and yang sword chi and blade aura came crashing down. Splatter. The blade aura and blade aura tore the man's robe and cut his skin. Blood splattered and evaporated. The man's robe exploded, and a young face was revealed. The center of the Yin family, Yin Bu Gui. Jiang Changkong looked at the man below in shock, and then felt that it was only natural. The only person he knew who could make him use all his power, and who had yet to reach the advanced level, was Yin Bu Gui. Also, only this prodigy could leave a deep impression on Su Xingheng, and he could recognize him at one glance. Back then, he had suppressed the Tranquil province all by himself. But wasn't it forbidden to come out of the Sin realm? Could it be that he had killed 100 people? No. If he had killed 100 people, then he would have come out openly. This guy was sneaking around. Sneaking out? Chapter 208. The power of the gold and silver Tai Chi diagram was beyond Jiang Changkong's expectations. Under normal circumstances, he could teleport 60% of his strength across a small level. But with the gold and silver Tai Chi diagram, even if he was facing Yun Bugui, he could teleport 80%. If he was facing a peak astral spirit, He could make them commit suicide with the gold and silver Tai Chi diagram. At this moment, he finally understood why this guy wanted to find Jiang Changyue and even followed him. He was the one who destroyed the Yun family. Although he did not destroy the entire family, the Yun family was still in the city and only the elites had come. But if the elites were all killed, it was no different from destroying the entire family. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Yin Bugui's expression was cold and self-deprecating. Sinner, how much do you know about what happened back then? Long cloud breaking the sun. The sword light rose again, this time with more power. Jiang Changkong keenly sensed that this sword had a slight restraint on the blazing sun star power. Heaven and earth shift, startling sword rise. Jiang Changkong said indifferently. The Tai Chi diagram suddenly changed, and the moon and sun released endless sword light. The startling sword covered the yin and yang, leaving only the pure sword light. Buzz. The sun-breaking sword light reversed again, this time with only 80% of its power. But it was enough. The startling sword was extremely fast, even faster than Yun Bugui's sword. Puffed. Blood splattered, and the sword light pierced through his body without injuring him. Only yin and yang remained in his body, and the blood he spat out was mixed with ice and cold air. The power of the moon and sun entered his body, and the mighty star power was difficult to suppress. Yin Bugui's face was pale, just like his clouds. The power in his body surged, and he actually gave up suppressing the two extreme powers. The new generation is better than the old. I have cultivated for so many years, but I'm not as good as a junior. You live up to your name, but this is as far as you can go. Jiang Changkong's expression was indifferent. The moon and sun merged, and when his battle power was fully unleashed, he could already beat up the so-called heaven's favorites. Jiang Changkong, Jiang Changyue, your strength is about the same. Both of you are alone, right? Yin Bugui suddenly raised his head, his eyes shooting out 3 feet of white light. White clouds appeared around him again. If I could be like you back then, I wouldn't have ended up like this. Jiang Changkong's expression was calm. I gave you a chance to escape. You won't be able to bring this secret out. Puff. The power of extreme yin and extreme yang clashed against each other, and Yin Bugui spat out another mouthful of blood. His body was filled with saber and sword wounds. I was indignant when I lost to extreme yin and extreme yang. This time, I'm still indignant. Kill. Long clouds break the sun, piercing the clouds break the moon, severing yin and yang. Yin Bugui let go of his sword and ignored the power in his body. His palms brought up a monstrous wave of clouds and gathered them together for an attack. Jiang Changkong was shocked. These two palms actually slightly countered the lunar and solar energies. For the past 10 years, this fellow had been researching how to counter the extreme yin and extreme yang. However, there was still the Tai Chi mysterious art in his Tai yin and Tai yang. You're really not bad. Jiang Changkong's expression was stern. He infused all the power in his body into the Tai Chi painting just to return the favor. Kaboom! Boundless astral power spread, and most of the two palms were reversed. 2 saber rays shot out from the Tai Chi painting and pierced through his body. The vast astral power attacked, and the sky lost color. The sun and moon dimmed, and the clouds dissipated. Jiang Changkong's body trembled, and golden blood splattered. Bang! There was an explosion. Flesh and blood splattered, and broken limbs flew in all directions. The life of a generation of elites ended just like that. Yin Bugui of a Yin family. Jiang Changkong wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and there was a hint of shock on his face. Yin Bugui had already broken the defense of the Tai Chi painting, but that was all he could do. With the extreme yin and extreme yang unleashed at the same time, Jiang Changkong's power had already far surpassed Yin Bugui's. If he faced a cultivator of extreme yin or extreme yang alone, even if he was a prodigy, Yin Bugui would definitely win. What a pity. Jiang Changkong descended from the sky, looked around, and found a ring. Luckily, this guy had an interspatial ring, and there should be a lot of star stones. He infused astral power into it, and there was a mountain of star stones, as well as some stones carved with diagrams and a manual. 9 Skies, 9 Clouds art, created by Yun Bugue himself. Jiang Changkong looked at the manual and flipped it open. The 9 layers of sky cover the sun and moon. The 9 clouds break yin and yang. This guy had stayed in the Sin domain for more than 10 years, just to wipe away his previous humiliation. Defeat a cultivator of extreme yin and extreme yang? He had modified the Yun family's martial arts to counter yin and yang, and when there was a chance, he would fight the prodigies of the 2 families. But it was a pity that Yun Bugue was after all a star spirit, and he had only researched a little bit of the power to counter yin and yang. Any deeper, and he would have to step into the advanced level to be able to do it. After that, Yun Bugue had only researched half of the move. Clouds cover the sun and moon, and had not succeeded yet. If he succeeded, even if he could not break through to the advanced level, he would be able to injure him more severely. And those stones were what he used to carve the martial arts in the Sin domain, and this time, he had brought them all out. The latter half of the manual also recorded the situation of the Sin domain and some other matters. Jiang Changkong kept the manual and looked at the star stones. There was a huge pile, and they were all unprocessed. These were the star stones that he had brought out from the Sin domain. Yin Bugue, you have given me a big gift. Jiang Changkong sighed, and with a wave of his hand, he collected the minced meat and split the ground open to bury the bodies. This martial art, he would not give it to the Yun family. This had a great restraining effect on him. He was not afraid of the same realm, but he was afraid of those who were stronger than him. Furthermore, this was not completed yet. If some other powerhouses wanted to target the Yun family and the Nan family, they would definitely use this as a foundation to continue researching. This martial art, for him, why could the Yun family and the Nan family not spread out? Let's go take a look at the research. Jiang Changkong flew into the sky. Although he knew that Professor Yun had a lot of trump cards, he still wanted to take a look since it was related to Tang Ruashi. He looked from afar and saw that Professor Yun and Tang Ruashi were unharmed, while the star spirits were all tied up. Only then did he go to find Jian Shuiyue. Tien Chong Tian, Yao Meng, Nan Tian Pang, Li Chang Tian, and Ji Qingming had also come with their guardians, and Si Shiming had also come. They helped Jian Shuiyue suppress the black-clothed man. You can't escape from the lunar star array, Jian Shuiyue said coldly. With the support of the strange array, her strength was not weaker than the black-clothed man. Surrender. I want to see where you learned the 9 sun sky art from. Nan Tian Pang's face was gloomy. The martial art that the black-clothed man used was the Nan family's secret art. Surrender. The black-clothed man sneered and said, I only need to delay you. When he comes back, none of you will be able to leave. Yun Bugue has completely set foot on the road of no return. Jiang Changkong came from the sky and joined the battle. He slammed his palm down and enveloped the black-clothed man. The black-clothed man was shocked. In a hurry, he could only raise his palm to block the attack. Magnificent star power surged, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The power of Yin followed closely. The 5 peak star spirits used their ultimate moves at the same time. Boom! The sky full of star power fell, and the ground cracked. The black-clothed man was directly smashed into the ground, and his breath was very weak. Jiang Changkong flew down, grabbed the black-clothed man, flew to the ground, and threw him on the ground. Jian Shuiyue directly tore off her black robe, revealing a rough face. Fifth uncle? How can it be you? Nan Tian Pang trembled and said in disbelief. Everyone present was also horrified. The Tang family's 3rd uncle, Jian Shuiyue, and the Nan family's 5th uncle, Nan Tian Pang. Both of them were members of the Tang family's upper echelon, but now they had to deal with them. Chapter 209. In the dark night, everyone was shocked. Both families had traitors, and they were even higher-ups. Nan Tian Pang immediately took out some healing medicine and fed it to his 5th uncle. What? Ji Shuiyu's expression was extremely cold. Who are you working for? We have a favor to ask. The Nan family's 5th uncle muttered He extended his hand and caressed Nan Tian Pang's chubby face. "Tell your big brother not to go to Sin Domain." Before he finished, his star power dissipated, his meridians were severed, and his life was gone. Third uncle. Ji Shuiyu looked at Yi Xianqing. Yi Xuanqing's face flushed red. "Don't tell anyone your aunt can come out." "Can come out." Ji Shuiyu was stunned. Coming out of Sin Domain, it was no wonder that Yi Xianqing would be so ruthless to kill her. Everything was to get Yi Mo Xian out of Sin Domain. Yin Bugui has already come out. The one just now has been killed. Jiang Changkong said indifferently. Everyone was silent. Su Xingheng's face was pale white, his eyes were tightly shut, and he did not even dare to breathe. "Old thing, still playing dead?" Jiang Changkong kicked him. "Su Xinghe will be here soon. I want to bring him away." Ji Shuiyu frowned. "He might know a lot. Su Xinghe is under my protection. If he doesn't agree, you can't bring him away." Jiang Changkong said coldly. "Don't argue. This matter involves many people. We need to investigate carefully." Yao Ming walked over and said, "The people of Sin Domain escaped, and Yi Xianqing told us not to say anything. That means the Federation does not know. You can't be thinking of hiding it, right?" Jiang Changkong's expression changed slightly. Fatty Nantian replied in a low voice. Jiang Changkong fell silent. This group of people most likely had friends and relatives in Sin Domain. Although they did not know how to get out, but there was hope. They would investigate, and after that, they would use this channel to save their own people. Jiang Changkong's expression turned cold. "So, you want to release a group of criminals? When they come out and cause trouble, which one of you is willing to take responsibility? We can guarantee that the people we save will not cause trouble. They will have a new identity and live peacefully." Yao Ming said. Fatty Nantian sighed softly. "Changkong, even if you go and say this, you won't be able to pass it. Once this gets out, the implications will be too great and the major forces will band together to kill you." Jiang Changkong felt a chill in his heart. Which of the major powers didn't have someone imprisoned? Once this matter was exposed, the news would not be able to spread, and they would be hunted down by this group of major powers. "Forget it." Jiang Changkong flicked his sleeves and said, "You guys go and investigate. I won't say anything." "Jiang, I'm here." "Chun, Su Tian, Xinghe, Jiang, Mo Tian Xinghe is Su. He. Su Xinghe are Tian, Su Xinghe. Don't kill him for now." Ji Shuiyu hurried to stop him. "Changkong." Su Xinghe looked at him. Only Jiang Changkong could support him here. Jiang Changkong sighed. "Your uncle is involved in too many things. Talk to him first. If he insists, kill him." "Thank you," Su Xinghe said gratefully. Jiang Changkong walked to the side, too lazy to listen to their conversation, but he did not forget to say, "Keep the star stones for me." After talking for an hour, Su Xinghe did not kill Su Xinghe in the end and handed Su Xinghe to Ji Shuiyu and the others. Of course, he also got a lot of benefits in exchange, such as the opportunity to cooperate with the Tong family and the Nan family. Li Changtian and Ji Qingming got up and left. They had to inform their families about this. Who didn't have a few bastards in their family? After taking the star stones, Jiang Changkong did not stay any longer. "I'm going back to the Research Institute. If there's anything, find me there." Back at the Research Institute, Professor Yun and Tang Ruoshi had not rested yet. Seeing him come back, they heaved a sigh of relief. "It's good that you're fine. Where are those people?" Jiang Changkong asked. "The people at the peak of the Star Spirit Peak that were tied up were all gone. Locked up first." Professor Yin pointed to the room and said, "How's it going on your side?" "It's over. They're finishing up," Jiang Changkong said. "I just got a lot of star stones. Professor, please help me deal with it." Professor Yin nodded. "No problem. Where did you get so many?" Her expression changed. The star stones Jiang Changkong took out could be piled up into a small mountain. Moreover, none of these star stones were lower than the peak of the 4th rank. "I just got them. I met a fat sheep." Jiang Changkong grinned and said, "I'll have to trouble Professor Yin." 2 days. Professor Yin rolled his eyes at him and said, "Move in." After putting the star stones away, Jiang Changkong and Tang Ruashi continued to study the star text. They rested until late at night. The next day, all the people at the peak of the Star Spirit Peak were released. No one knew how Professor Yin talked to them. The abyss returned to peace, and the major forces withdrew from the abyss. Jin Shuiyu and the others did not come. Professor Yun and Tang Ruashi dealt with the star stones together, while Jiang Changkong counted his harvest. The major forces were very rich, and Nan Tianpang's fifth uncle was also quite rich. 6th grade low-grade star stones, 2,500 pieces, no mid-grade, 250,000 essence, chi, and spirit. 5th grade top-grade star stones, 12,050 pieces, 482,000 pieces. 23,112 pieces of star stones of high-grade 5th tier. 693,360 pieces. 5th grade, mid-grade star stones, 48,500 pieces, 970,000 pieces. This was all the harvest, and it was certainly not as good as Yun Bugui's. But Yun Bugui's was still being dealt with, and could not be used for the time being. Total, 2395360. He was not in a hurry to upgrade 2 martial arts, and planned to wait until Yun Bugui's star stones were dealt with. Yun Bugui had been in Sin Realm for 10 years, and when he entered, he was only at the early stage of the Star Spirit Peak. But now he was at the peak of the Star Spirit Peak. This kind of genius, ordinary low-grade star stones were not worth it at all, and the worst was at the peak of the 4th grade. One Yun Bugui had so much, and it was hard for him to imagine how fat the pigs in Sin Realm were. However, now it was time to think about building a city. Jiang Changkong took out his mobile phone, logged into the Budokai official website, and contacted customer service. Hello, respected chairman of Budokai. Customer service 004 is at your service. This 004 again. Jiang Changkong suspected that customer service was a fixed one-to-one service. I want to build a city. Customer service 004. Are you joking? You want to build a city? I'm not joking. There's a large mineral vein here in the abyss, and it is mine now. I plan to use this mineral vein to build a city. Sure, you have to guarantee that there is no star demon within 100 miles of the city, and when the time comes, someone from the Federation will contact you. Okay, that's settled. I will start in 3 days. After Jiang Changkong finished speaking, he prepared to contact Ji Xiling and the others. Wait a minute, accept the mission first. Customer Service 004 sent a message, and there was another mission. Build a city in the abyss, reward. Budokai upgrade to epic 1 million points. There was such a benefit. Jiang Changkong was happy and quickly accepted the mission, free points, and upgrade to Budokai. Not a fool. After confirming that the city was built, Jiang Changkong began to inform Ji Xiling, Principal Yu Balin, and Jiang Haishan to come over and share the cake. Even if they could not afford it, they still needed to contribute to the management and operation of the city. As for the people of the Ending Province, Tang Ruashi, Professor Yun, and the others were too busy. Su Xinghe? How could he be more reliable than his old acquaintances? Chapter 210. Yun Bugui's star stones were settled, and Jiang Changkong was counting them. 300 peak 6th grade, 2,000 high grade 6th grade, 4,000 middle grade 6th grade, 7,000 low grade 6th grade, peak 5th grade 10,000, high grade 25,000, middle grade 40,000, low grade 60,000. 4th grade was not counted, as there was no more essence energy. Essence energy, 477 million. A genius of a generation. With 10 years of accumulation, Jiang Changkong wanted to go to Sin Domain now. He was overflowing with wealth. A few silhouettes walked over quickly, and Jiang Changkong quickly put away the starstone. Stop hiding, we all saw it. Ji Shuiyu's expression was cold, and she said with disdain. Yao Meng and Nan Tianpang stood at the side, shaking their heads with the same look of disdain. Jiang Changkong's mouth twitched, and he could not be bothered with them. Uncle that does not know who the mastermind is. His goal is to kill me. And when I left the Qi clan, he followed. He and I were in no rush to show ourselves, and secretly informed third uncle. Ji Shuiyu explained the matter, and that the black-robed man that night was Mingda. But Mingda did not kill her, and was instead tricked by her secret technique and lured to the swamp. Ji Shuiyu took advantage of the situation and framed Jiang Changwei. Seeing this, Mingda was more than happy and pushed the matter onto Jiang Changwei. After that, he used Ji Youngsung to inform Yun Xianqing, and thus Yun Xianqing came. Why didn't Yun Xianqing come earlier and kill you? Jiang Changkong asked the question in his heart. Because Yun Xianqing wanted to pacify my sister. Ji Shuiyu said indifferently. I did not die and chose to hide, so Yun Xianqing had to stay at home to pacify my sister. If not, everything would have been in vain. Qi Shiming nodded. To Third Master, if Missy did not come, he had Mingda, Su Xingheng, and the rest to control the situation. Most importantly, Yun Xianqing wanted to see the people from Sin Domain. Only then would he believe that the other party had the confidence to save her. Only then would he take the risk and use my life to exchange for my aunt's release. Ji Shuiyu's expression was ice-cold. I will definitely investigate this matter. Yes, go for it. I'll support you in spirit. Jiang Changkong nodded heavily and encouraged him. Moral support? Don't you know something practical? Ji Shuiyu gritted her teeth and said maliciously, You miser, why don't you go die? Where are the star stones that you promised me? Jiang Changkong curled his lips and asked, I will deliver it to you tonight. Ji Shu said angrily. Jiang Changyue also promised to accompany me to the extreme in Cold Pond. We'll talk about it after we get the star stones. Jiang Changkong looked at Yao Meng and Nan Tianping. Do you want to make a deal? Chang Kai-sheng. An agitated voice could be heard, and Ding Bang dashed in and plopped onto the ground. Jiang Changkong was shocked. President, why are you so courteous? And Ding Bang hurried to get up and said with a sad face, Chang Kai-sheng, please give me a way out and give me some food. Jiang Changkong was stunned. Did this guy know that he was going to build a city and came here to ask for a discount? No, he had only told Ji Xiling and the others about the news. Although Professor Yun and Tang Ruoshi also knew about it, they didn't spread it. How did this guy know? President, what do you mean? Jiang Changkong was puzzled and pretended not to know. If he wanted to buy land, he would not give a discount. Chang Kai-sheng, I'm about to die. You support the Su family, so do I. Please give me a way out. 70% of the star stones every year, I really can't afford it. And Ding Bang said pitifully. His rough face was full of desolation, as if he had been ravaged by someone. What's 70% of the star stones? What does it have to do with the Su family? Jiang Changkong was at a loss. It sounded like the Su family was making things difficult for Ding Bang. He looked at Jian Shuiyue, and they all turned their heads to the side. This was not right. Wasn't Ding Bang hugging their thighs? Chang Kai-sheng. Su Xinghe requests an audience. Su Xinghe's voice came from outside. Come in, there is something here that needs your explanation. Jiang Changkong said lightly. Su Xinghe walked in, holding a ring in his hand. Chang Kai-sheng. These are the star stones of the major families. They asked me to bring them to you. Asked you? What about the indignation? Jiang Changkong looked at him with a smile that wasn't a smile. Jiang Changkong must have used a lot of tricks. Su Xinghe didn't feel embarrassed. He glanced at Ding Bang and said, In fact, when Su Xingheng and the others made their move, they had already sent people to attack the major forces. Budokai suffered heavy losses. Fortunately, Chang Kai-sheng turned the tide and saved the major forces. President and said that he wanted to work for Chang Kai-sheng, but he refused to give up the star stones. And Ding Bang said with a bitter face, 70% is too much. Jiang Changkong said thoughtfully, Now all the major forces in the Tranquil province are willing to listen to the Su family? The Tong family has no objections? At the end of his words, he looked at Jian Shuiyue and the others. Jian Shu said indifferently, The Tong family doesn't interfere in the Tranquil province's affairs. We can open a chamber of commerce, but don't interfere with the major forces in the Tranquil province, Yao Meng said. Nan Tianping shook his head, indicating that he didn't want to participate. Jiang Changkong sighed softly. And Ding Bang, you're really clinging to the wrong person. From now on, I will listen to Chiang Kai-sheng's instructions, and Ding Bang said hurriedly. Su Xinghe said, now all the major forces in the Tranquil province are willing to give up 40% of the star stones every year. Of course, we will also give up some benefits. The properties of the dead star spirit peak experts will be divided. In the long run, they will only make profits. I don't have any properties. Why should I give up 70%? And Ding Bang said gloomily. He only had Budokai. He did have properties, but they were all small businesses that didn't make much money. Jiang Changkong thought for a moment and said, I want to build a city. Let's divide the land according to the list of major forces. Since these people were so sensible and gave up star stones every year, he wouldn't destroy them. Build a city? Divide the land? Ji Shuiyu and the others were shocked. They didn't expect that Jiang Changkong would have this idea. Jiang Changkong said indifferently, there are large mineral veins, gravity, swamps, and lunar frigid pond here. With such rich resources, wouldn't it be a waste if we don't build a city? You snatch the mineral veins to build a city. Everyone was stunned. Jiang Changkong said seriously, of course, after the city is built, I will sell the land and trade the star stones. Everyone, you're willing to do anything for the star stones. You can even think of building a city and selling land. What's wrong with your brain? The Research Institute has confirmed that we want a piece of land. My fellow villagers in Jianghai also want to share. Do you want it? Jiang Changkong asked. Yes, of course, Su Xinghe and Ding Bang said hurriedly. Ji Shuiyu and the others were still hesitating. The lunar frigid pond was very important to the Ji clan, but whether they bought the land or not, it wouldn't affect the Ji clan's treasures. Yao Ming and Nan Tianping were both silent. The resources here were good, but for them, it wasn't particularly helpful. Jiang Changkong continued, I plan to sell 50% of the mineral vein shares along with the land. I want this land, Ji Shuiyu and the others said heroically without hesitation. Selling it along with the mineral veins, they would definitely buy it. Jiang Changkong smiled and said, I don't know much about building a city. Which land do you think is better? And Ding Bang said hurriedly, it's not bad around here. It's best if it's between the three major areas. It's not too far away. Everyone began to discuss and decided to build a city between the three major areas. Jiang Changkong could clear the gravity and swamps, but not the lunar frigid pond, which was too dangerous. Even now, he didn't dare to provoke those sword chi. Chapter 2:11. 50% of the shares were divided among the Tong family, the Nan family, and the Alcade Chamber of Commerce. As for the remaining 50%, Jiang Changkong did not intend to keep much. 10% was given to the Research Institute and 10% to Ji Xiling. The remaining 10% was to be divided among Su Xinghe and the other major forces. These people took out 40% of their earnings every year and gave it to Jiang Changkong. They were already on the same boat. In order to squeeze in, and Ding Bang gritted his teeth and agreed to hand over 50% every year. In this way, Jiang Changkong only had 20% of the shares left. But all he had to do was to clean up the Star Demon. The construction of the city, Professor Yun, the Tong family, and the other major forces would solve the problems for him. As for the development of the mine, he might not need to worry about it. These people would help. Jiang Changkong had no other choice. He could not stay here to develop. He had to throw everything away and control absolute power and force. The most important thing was that the people of the Tranquil province had become poor. The star stones had been given to him. How could he buy more? He would just treat it as the money they had used to buy the land. He could only take out the shares of the mine to trick Jian Shuyue and the others. With this relationship, if anything happened in the city in the future, these three families would not stand idly by. After everything was settled, Jiang Changkong left in the name of looking for Jiang Changyue. The star stones given by Su Xinghe and Ding Bang added up to more than 5 million essence, energy, and spirit. Now, essence, energy, and spirit. 9771555. After some calculations, there were still 6,000 pieces of 6th-grade starstones from Jian Shuyue that were about to arrive. More than 10 million essence, energy, and spirit. Without hesitation, Jiang Chankong directly upgraded the 6 martial arts to perfection at the same time. The Stargate shook and solidified. Only one part was still illusory. When his star spirit was completely perfected, the Stargate would definitely solidify. The invincible Vajra body stepped into perfection, and the 6th power pattern was formed. Pure power, terrifying defense, and the 5 senses were also improved. The star power was condensed and transformed even stronger. The boundless star power, as vast as the sea, merged into the soul body and blended with each other. The power of the Tai Chi mysterious art, the Yuling incantation, and the other martial arts were also increasing. Great Yin and Great Yang appeared above his head at the same time, the sun and the moon competing in splendor. Boundless starlight bloomed, engulfing the depths of the entire swamp area. The star demon at the peak of the star spirit peak shivered, not daring to move. Jiang Chankong, astral peak, middle-class upper-grade martial art, invincible Vajra divine art. Perfection, 1/56250000 Tai Chi mysterious skill. Complete, 1/56250000 3 strikes of grace. Perfect, 1/56250000 blazing sun skill. Full circle, 1/56250000 Yuling chant. Perfect, 1/56250000 cold moon art. Perfection, 1/56250000 essence. Energy and spirit. 3021555. He still had 3 million essence, chi, and spirit, but it was not even enough to fully activate a martial art. In the next moment, a secret manual appeared in Jiang Chankong's hand. 9 heavens, 9 clouds art. Of course, it cannot be said that Yun Bugui was the one who created all the martial arts. He had modified it based on the martial arts he had learned and understood. But this was already very impressive. Most importantly, it could restrain the sun and moon. Although it was only a slight restraint, what about leveling up himself? Once it was upgraded, the restraints would be even greater. The strongest part of this secret manual was the palm technique. As for the movement technique, it couldn't compare to his flight technique at the same level. Yun Bugui was able to keep up with him because he was only a late-stage star spirit. Now that star spirit was at its peak, Yun Bugui could only follow behind and eat the dust. He was not in a hurry to make a decision. He flipped to the back and looked at what Yun Bugui had recorded. Regarding the Sin domain, the secret of his coming out. There was a void passage, but someone needed to receive them before they could come out. The exact location of the passageway was not recorded. Other than that, there was also the matter of Yun Bugui in the realm of Sin, one of the rulers of the city of Sin. If he wanted to live in the city, he would have to give him some star stones. He liked to snatch star stones when he was bored. Before he had any hope of escaping, his goal was to kill 100 of them and turn over a new leaf. But it was a pity to be able to go to the Sin domain to reap the fat pigs. There were no weaklings. Even though he was once a chosen one, a peak astral spirit, it was difficult for him to kill 100 of them. The heavens' favorites of the major forces, for example, Ji Shuiyu's sister, was a peak astral spirit. She was only 2 years older than Ji Shuiyu and was still in isolation. Though my Tai Yin and Tai Yang are not weak and have stepped into the peak, I am not afraid of the other heavens' favorites. But if the heavens' favorites were to join forces with a special suppressive force, it would be troublesome for me. Jiang Chankong thought of Ji Shuiyu's suppressive force and part of the astral body's characteristics. One-on-one, or even against the Tai Yin and Tai Yang, Jiang Chankong had the confidence to suppress them. But these people were collecting geniuses from all over the Federation. When the time comes, they would not be alone. Plus, the heavens' favorites of the major forces seemed to have a good relationship. In the stories, weren't the major forces supposed to be enemies? How could there be someone like Ji Shuiyu? Nan Tianping even gave her moonstones. I won't get many star stones even if I sell my land. It's even more impossible to perfect all 6 of my martial arts. If I want to make a fortune in the Sin domain, I have to practice this martial art, Jiang Chankong murmured. Yun Bugui wanted to wash away his shame, but But there was no chance now. He would use this martial art to help him make up for his regret. Thinking of this, Jiang Changkong learned the Nine Skies, Nine Clouds art and improved it to perfection. Jiang Changkong, peak astral spirit upper middle class martial art. Indestructible Vajra divine art. Perfection. 1/5625000 Tai Chi mysterious art. Perfection. 1/5625000 graceful three-blade art. Perfection. 1/5625000 blazing sun art. Perfection. 1/5625000 Yuling art. Perfection. 1/5625000 cold moon art. Perfection. 1/5625000 nine skies, nine clouds art. Perfection. 1/5625000 essence, spirit, and energy. 1626554 another stargate appeared in his body, surrounded by white clouds. His sea of star power also had a sea of white clouds. After the upgrade, all the profound meanings of the nine skies, nine clouds art surged into his mind. Yin Bugui's unfinished move, clouds covering the sun and moon, was also completed. It was the bane of yin and yang. Should I try the nine skies, nine clouds art now? I'll only use 70% of the nine clouds art. Jiang Changkong pondered for a while, then leaped into the air and pressed down with his palm. White clouds gathered and covered the swamp area. The white clouds gathered a vast palm force and pressed down. Rumble. The swamp area was stirred and the depths were pressed down by this palm. A palm force several meters deep was imprinted on the ground. A few peak, astral spirit, star demon below were smashed to death. Just the nine clouds palm force alone has such power. Not bad. Jiang Changkong was pleasantly surprised. He didn't try again and switched to blazing sun star power. If he wanted to clean up this place, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. It was better to keep this martial art for now. When the geniuses came out, he would give them a surprise. The blazing sun hung high in the sky, releasing boundless blade light, and began to clean up the star demon in the swamp area. The star demon hiding deep underground was also killed. Of course, he only killed star hiding and star spirit realm once. He didn't clean up the rest. There were many medicinal herbs here that needed the star demon to grow. Moreover, this swamp also needed the star demon to pass through to create such an environment suitable for the growth of medicinal herbs. This was what Professor Yun had told him. If he killed the star demon, they would have to spend more effort to modify the environment here. The gains wouldn't make up for the losses. Jiang Changkong only finished cleaning up the swamp area in the afternoon. Then, Ji Shuyue called and asked him to go to the lunar frigid pond. 6,000 lower-grade star stones were going to be in his account. They agreed to meet at the lunar frigid pond. Jiang Changkong changed into a black robe and flew away. Ji Shuyue had been waiting for a long time. Lin Shiming had accompanied her. Let's go. Don't move randomly later. If you trigger the sword chi inside, even I won't be able to protect you, Jiang Changkong said. Ji Shuyue said, You're talking about the lunar star array. I understand it better than you. You just need to block the star demon. Jiang Changkong nodded. The three of them entered the lunar frigid pond. Was the lunar star array the strange patterns that Ji Shuyue had used before? Chapter 2:12. Entering the cold lake again, Jiang Changkong rode on his sword with the moon sword under his feet. Ji Shuyue exuded dense moon-cold chi as she absorbed the cold chi in the cold lake. Tai Shiming was much more low-key. He restrained his aura and tried not to expose it. As if sensing something strange, Ji Shuyue looked at him strangely. You seem to have become stronger again. Jiang Changkong said humbly, just a little. I don't believe you. You are very bad. Ji Shuyue did not believe that this guy had only improved a little. She could not see through Jiang Changkong's strength, but she could feel the terrifying moon star power. Compared to before, it was much stronger. At least, she did not dare to call for 3 palms. Take out your Yu-Gai later. We will walk around the lake, Ji Shuyue said. Yu-Gai. Jiang Changkong raised his eyebrows. You want to use Yu-Gai to cause a reaction? Ji Shuyue said, Yes. Yu-Gai can sense each other. If you can get it, you will benefit greatly. As they spoke, the three arrived in front of the moon lake. The lake had calmed down, and the star demon was hidden. Strange patterns appeared on the surface of Ji Shuyue's body, forming the moon star formation. Follow me closely. With me here, the incomplete moon star formation will not attack at will. But if you do anything rash, I can only guarantee my own safety. Saying this, Ji Shuyue stepped into the lake first. Jiang Changkong held the moon sword, and the surrounding moon water automatically separated. Ji Shuyue looked at his sword in surprise. You guy did not have this magical characteristic. The problem was with the sword. More accurately, it was the tip of the sword. I did not expect that I would be wrong. Your sword is no less precious than you guy. Ji Shuyue looked deeply at the moon sword, wanting it very much. But this guy would definitely not give it to her. As a cultivator of moonstar power, she knew how important a moonstar weapon was. Let's go. Jiang Changkong took out the tying saber, and the two laurel leaves swayed, giving off misty moonlight. As the three of them walked on the lake, they felt a sense of danger. A sword light flashed, and the star demon turned into an ice sculpture. Ji Shuyue's heart went cold. She couldn't even see how this sword light was emitted. Walking on the lake, Jiang Changkong would take action at the slightest sign of danger. He gradually came to understand the star demon in the moon lake. The strongest ones were two late-stage star spirits. There was no peak astral star demon, but even so, this place could bury the peak astral. Buzz! The two pieces of you guy suddenly trembled, releasing moonlight and rushing forward. Got it! Jian Shui was pleasantly surprised and quickly walked forward. Jiang Changkong frowned. Was it you guy? But why didn't the sword tip react? It was just that the two pieces of you guy had reacted, but the sword tip didn't react at all. Puzzled, the three of them came to the damaged special pattern. The lake water around them parted, revealing the scene inside. A ball of silver moonlight the size of a human head absorbed the surrounding water of the moon lake and slowly grew. This is... Jiang Changkong looked at the silver moonlight with a hint of surprise. The power contained in this ball of silver moonlight was even more terrifying than the tip of his sword. The essence of extreme yin. This is mine, Jian Shui said excitedly, and quickly accepted the silver moonlight. Ji Shiming was also very excited and quickly congratulated. Congratulations, Mississippi. Although there is no you guy, with this moon essence, you have the main material for a high-grade weapon. High-grade weapon? Main material? Jiang Changkong blinked. This was very valuable. Jian Shui saw through his thoughts at a glance. I know what you're thinking. When we go out, I will give you a few more star stones. Jiang Changkong didn't say anything. His moon saber sword wasn't bad either. This was just the main material. Just this moon essence alone wasn't enough to forge a high-grade weapon. Moreover, without Jian Shuiyu, he wouldn't be able to take this thing away even if he came alone. He was very envious that Jian Shuiyu had cultivated part of the moon astral body's characteristics and wouldn't trigger the sword chi here. Speaking of which, how do you cultivate part of the moon astral body's characteristics? Jiang Changkong asked. If he could cultivate it, then he would be able to take all the treasures here. The Sea Clan's secret. Jian Shuiyu's lips curled up, feeling somewhat proud. Jiang Changkong's lips twitched. He didn't expect her to tell him. Of course, she wouldn't tell others about this secret technique. The three of them continued to search. In this place, they could only rely on you guys' senses to search for treasures. There were some places that even Jian Shui didn't dare to casually step into. If the moon astral body could run amok here, the Sea Clan would probably have sent an astral body cultivator here long ago. Not long after, you guys sensed something again. This time, it wasn't you guy, but a stone. The heart-shaped stone was silvery white, but he couldn't sense any moon power from it. However, Jian Shuiyu acted very quickly. Jiang Changkong only had time to take a look at it before it was put away. Jiang Changkong asked, "What is this?" "Heart of the moon." "You wouldn't understand even if I told you," Jian Shuiyu said vaguely, unwilling to say more. "I suddenly regret coming down with you," Jiang Changkong said. This heart of the moon was definitely a treasure that was better than the moon essence. Jian Shuiyu was worried that he would snatch it by force. She was thinking too much. He had promised her that he wouldn't do such a thing. However, since he had obtained good things, he had to share some. Thinking of this, Jiang Changkong said, "Add the star stone." "No problem." Jian Shuiyu squinted her eyes. She was very generous. "Why don't you go back with me and work for me in the future? I won't treat you badly." "I'm not interested," Jiang Changkong said indifferently. "You just need to give me the star stone." Jian Shuiyu was somewhat unhappy. "Why are you like Jiang Changkong? You're like a miser. As long as you follow me, this heart of the moon, you, me, and my sister will split it equally." "I want the star stone for Changkong," Jiang Changkong said calmly. "I only work for him." "Why are you like this? What's so good about the star stone? With your potential, I'll fight for enough resources for you. In the future, I'll bring you to the sinful region and even other places for cultivation resources." Jian Shuiyu said angrily. "It's hard to find a confidant in this world," Jiang Changkong said indifferently. Jian Shuiyu didn't say anything. She sighed and said, "Forget it. When you've thought it through, you can come and find me. For now, let's get the treasure." Then, the three of them didn't say anything and continued to look for treasures. After walking for a while, Yu Gai didn't sense anything anymore. Jian Shuiyu stopped and said, "Let's go up." "More than half of the area hasn't been explored yet," Jiang Changkong said. They hadn't even explored all the places they had been to. They only searched for treasures according to Yu Gai's senses. The lunar star formation in the remaining areas isn't very strong. "We can't go there," Jian Shuiyu said, shaking her head. Jiang Changkong heard this and left with them. After returning to the lunar cold pond, Jiang Changkong was ready to leave. Jian Shuiyu stopped him. "How can I contact you directly? We'll meet again if we're fated." "Give a star stone to Changkong," Jiang Changkong said indifferently. Then, he didn't stay any longer and flew away. What a pity. Such a genius is loyal to a miser. "I'm so angry." Jian Shuiyu's cold face showed anger. She almost went berserk. Ji Ximing sighed and said, "Maybe they're sincere friends. I can only say that when he was in trouble, the person he met was Jiang Changkong and not Mississippi." Jian Shuiyu calmed down and sighed. "Let's go." After the two left, Jiang Changkong also left. He took off his black robe and found a place near the three major areas. He started to kill the star demon. He let out blood to attract the star demon. The sun hung high in the sky and released boundless blade light. Chapter 213. Thick blood energy filled the abyss. Countless star demon rushed over and were killed by the blade light. Blood clouds stretched for miles, and a thick smell of blood filled most of the abyss. Starsea level, Stargate level, Hidden Star level, all the way to Star Spirit level. An endless number of star demons charged forward. The major families in Budokai were all cleaning up the star demon's body and transporting it to Pingan City. There were also chambers of commerce that bought them here. Some professionals were measuring the land, preparing to build a city here. Professor Yun personally came to discuss with the staff of the Federation on how to build the city. Jiang Changkong gave shares in land, so Professor Yin couldn't just sit back and do nothing. Ji Xiling and the others also came, and so did Yu Balin. He was going to another school, but this time he transferred here and continued to be the principal of the martial arts school here. Yu Balin readily agreed to Jiang Changkong's suggestion that they could exchange for star stones at any place they wanted. Jiang Changhai, the junior commander, had also stepped into the Star Spirit level and had applied to the Federation to be transferred here. With these people here, Jiang Changkong was relieved. He could build the city and then leave. His old acquaintances could also share some of the soup and have their own business. Well, senior sister Yinshua's restaurant would definitely be given, so he didn't have to worry about her starving to death. Professor Yin wouldn't ask for shares for nothing. In addition to building the city, the Institute would also be responsible for the defense of the city. For example, the Institute would take care of the surveillance and defense of the city walls. As for the construction of the city, the Federation would transport materials, the three major families, and the major forces of the Ending Province would also contribute. Jiang Changkong released the scorching sun, planning to go deeper into the abyss to see if he could see the end. Ji Xue came, and the cold air around her was restrained to the extreme. "Miser, come down. Are you here to give me the star stones?" Jiang Changkong came down and asked. This guy only had star stones in his eyes. Ji Shue said with a dark face. The Ji clan will give you the star stones together after the discussion on the land division and the shares of the veins. But now, I have something to tell you. He wasn't here to deliver star stones. Jiang Changkong was somewhat disappointed. Go ahead. They're enough to build the city. Once you've killed the star demon at the peak of the Star Soul Peak, you can leave. Let me ask you, do you want to follow me to the big province? The matter of the Sin domain is about to begin. Ji Shue said. Jiang Changkong asked, how much longer? It should be less than 2 months, maybe even earlier. With your strength, the Federation will definitely invite you. And at that time, the various Budokai cities will compete to determine the quota to go to the Sin domain. Ji Shuiyu explained, the Sin realm's basic condition to participate is 1,000 low-grade star stones. Star stones? Jiang Changkong was somewhat reluctant. These 1,000 star stones are for you to bet on your future resources. As for how many star stones you can obtain and how much you can achieve in the future, it all depends on you. Han Shuiyue coldly said. Future resources? What kind of achievements? Jiang Changkong was puzzled. What does that mean? The Sin domain is just a place to accumulate star stones. You can ask Professor Yin for the details. Han Shuiyue said somewhat impatiently. What about Jiang Changwei? He will only delay his future if he follows you. You can tell him to follow me. Changwei's already left, Jiang Changkong said indifferently. Left? Han Shuiyue was slightly stunned. Jiang Changkong explained. Yes, he doesn't want to go to the Sin domain. He plans to wander somewhere else. Han Shuiyue was somewhat disappointed. Wander somewhere else? How could such a genius be so blind as to fall for you? She glared at him fiercely and turned to leave. Jiang Changkong curled his lips. I didn't even offend you. Why are you looking at me as if you want to eat me up? Forget it. I don't want to think about it anymore. I'll go straight to the depths to take a look. Jiang Changkong left Ardent Sun behind and told them not to get close as it would attack indiscriminately. Flying through the air, Jiang Changkong went deep into the abyss. The Ardent Sun lit up the abyss. Inside, there were countless star demon and giant trees. Weeds, trees, streams, lakes, they were no different from the ground. He flew forward for half an hour before reaching the deepest part of the abyss. There was a giant crack in front of him. It was unknown where it led to, but all sorts of starlight interweaved and emitted a terrifying power. The aura here. Jiang Changkong's expression was cold. The starlight that was released from the entrance of the crack made his heart palpitate. High level. This starlight was enough to threaten high-level martial artists. With his current strength, he was unable to go over. Star Demon kept rushing out from the crack. Jiang Changkong looked down and saw a peak star spirit star demon. The Imperial Spirit art wrapped around the peak star spirit star demon and rushed towards the crack. Bang! The starlight exploded and directly turned the star demon into minced meat. The star stones turned into powder. Seems like I can only come over and not go over. After Jiang Changkong verified it, he did not ask for a rebuff and turned to leave. The star demon here should not be cut off. It was impossible to kill them all. Furthermore, the star demon was also a resource. After killing them all, it would not be beneficial to the development of the city. Returning the way he came, Jiang Changkong condensed a new ardent Sunday. Now that the star demon was scattered, killing them in one place was too slow. It would be better if there was a star demon somewhere. It would be better if there were more suns. After a day of killing, Jiang Changkong stayed at the stronghold at night. Jiang Changkong drank a mouthful of tea and asked Professor Yin, Teacher, I heard from Yin Shuiyu that the Sin domain is to accumulate resources? Professor Yin nodded. I was about to tell you about this. The Federation has already sent an invitation. As you were busy, we did not inform you. With that, Professor Yin took out a gold invitation and passed it to Jiang Changkong. Jiang Changkong looked at it. It was from the Federation headquarters, asking him to head to Jinghai Province's capital, Wanli City, to participate in Budokai's competition. The competition could be held by 1 person or 8 people. Only large-scale and above Budokai would have the qualifications to participate. 10 people would be selected to head to the Sin domain. Of course, The large provinces' powerhouses would not participate as they had other places. After the Sin domain is the void. If you are able to obtain a large amount of resources in the Sin domain and obtain enough Sin badges, you will be able to obtain a good ranking. In the future, when you go to the void, you will be allocated a good place. Professor Yin did not hide anything and told him everything. Void. Jiang Changkong frowned. Let me tell you about the current situation of the Federation. In case you don't know about it in the future, you can make more friends in the future. Professor Yun's expression was solemn as he said solemnly. The Federation is now divided into 3 major sectors. One is the 36 provinces and 11 overseas islands. These places are similar. High-level martial artists do not come out. Other than the major forces in the major provinces, there are many peak astral souls. You can do whatever you want. 2. The void is also known as the void realm. The star crystals that you are concerned about came from there. 3. The Starry Sky Expedition. Void realm. Starry Sky Expedition? Jiang Changkong's expression changed as he quickly listened attentively. Professor Yun patiently explained. The Federation's 3 major sectors, 36 provinces, and 11 overseas islands are the foundation of the Federation. The Void Realm was a place for high-level martial artists to develop. There were endless high-level resources there, and there were also star crystal veins. The Starry Sky Expedition was a great thing that only peak astral bodies martial artists could participate in. Their mission was to enter the starry sky, excavate the resources of the starry sky, and explore the mysteries of the starry sky. Chapter 214. Putting aside the expedition for now, it was still too far away. The Void Realm was very dangerous. There were countless high-ranking star demon there, and even high-ranking martial artists were not invincible. Other than the high-ranking star demon, there were also some ancient, incomplete star formations that could kill high-ranking martial artists. There were many star crystal veins in the Void Realm, and most of them were known to be controlled by the Federation and the major forces. The major forces were able to become major forces because they controlled star crystal veins. Star crystals could accelerate the cultivation speed of high-ranking martial artists or even top-ranking martial artists. Of course, star crystal veins were not that easy to obtain. Once they appeared, the Federation, the major forces, and even the Star Demon would fight for them. Star crystals had the same effect on the Star Demon. There's one more thing. You have to remember that the Star Demon in the Void Realm has intelligence and knows martial arts. Professor Yin said with a heavy expression, so if you have the chance to go there, don't kill the Star Demon like you are now. I can understand that the Star Demon knows martial arts. It's a special star stone. Jiang Changkong said, it does have intelligence, but is it high? It's not weaker than humans, Professor Yin said. After so many years, some of the Star Demon have learned how to use and make instruments. Jiang Changkong took a deep breath. They even knew how to make instruments? He did not know anything, but of course, that was because he was unwilling to learn. The Void Realm can be said to be another world, and the environment inside is worse than the abyss. Professor Yin continued, of course, your main goal now is the Sin Realm. If you can build a good relationship with Ji Shuiyu and the others, don't be enemies. Jiang Changkong did not have the attribute of cozying up to someone powerful. What if I can't build a good relationship? If you can't be friends, don't be enemies. If, and I'm saying if, you really become enemies, do it cleanly. Professor Yin said in a deep voice, in the Sin Realm, killing is not a crime, but don't leave any evidence behind, lest they make things difficult for you in the Void Realm. Teacher, have you been to the Void Realm? Jiang Changkong asked. Yes, but the Federation that you belonged to at that time had an astral body martial artist fallen, so I had to withdraw. Professor Yin sighed and said, it was also a battle for the vein. That officer died in the battle for the star crystal vein. Jiang Changkong was silent for a moment, then suddenly said, Teacher, do you have any relatives or friends in the Sin Realm? The news could not be hidden from Professor Yin. Since he could not be. Professor Yun's voice paused. He narrowed his eyes and said solemnly, can you really come out? We'll know the specifics when we get there, but there's no guarantee of success, Jiang Changkong said. Professor Yun fell silent. After a long time, he said, "Before you leave, I will give you the information. If you can bring it out, I will give you whatever you want in the future. As long as they aren't evil, I can bring them out," Jiang Chongkong said. Professor Yin nodded. "I'm also a member of the union. I won't let you deal with the truly evil people." After the discussion, it was time to learn StarCraft. Professor Yin told him that there were many objects engraved with star runes in the Void Realm. Some of them were just ordinary items, while others would attract high-level martial artists to kill each other. As for the intelligent star demon, they were collecting such items. Even if it was an ordinary item, the intelligent star demon wouldn't let it go. According to the Federation's speculation and research, the records of the star text were extremely important to the intelligent star demon. Of course, it was also very important to humans. The reason why the Federation was able to go on an expedition was because they had obtained a star text object which recorded a route to a certain place in space. In this way, Jiang Chongkong felt that star text was increasingly important. Going to the starry realm required star text, and future expeditions would also require star text. However, although the trip to the sinful realm was only 2 months, he had to rush there in advance for the competition in Budokai. He only had half a month, and he still had to kill the star demon. He was afraid that he would not be able to finish learning star text. Professor Yin had no other choice. It was already good enough that he could teach star text. Some of the information was classified by the Federation and could not be taken away. In the end, he could only learn as much as he could. In the future, when there was star text, he would take pictures or copy it for Professor Yin to translate, killing the star demon during the day and learning star text at night. After working for 8 days, on the 5th day, the star demon was almost completely cleaned up. The city had also begun to be built, and it was named Abyss City. The star stones from the sale of the land were also obtained, mainly from the 3 major families. The rest was the tributes from the major forces. In addition to the major forces, the forces that did not come from the Tranquil province were also tricked by Su Xinghe to come over and buy land there. Other than selling the land, Jiang Chongkong even sold the rights to enter and exit the 3 major regions. The city was his, and the 3 major regions were conquered by him. They could search for treasures, but without the rights to buy, they could not get close. The people of the Tranquil province did not have any objections. Now, all the major forces were very obedient. Whatever Jiang Chongkong said, no one dared to make a sound. In addition, in the extreme freezing pond, he had obtained 2 treasures for Shuiyu, and the Sea family had given him a lot of star stones. Adding all of them together, although it was not as much as what he had obtained previously, it was still at least 6,600,000. The city, the Orvanes, and the nearby resources that could be sold were all sold by him. The various major forces of the Tranquil province also needed to recuperate and recover their strength. Of course, he still kept 1,000 pieces of 6th-level lower-grade star stones, which was worth 100,000 essence chi. The matters in the Tranquil province were more or less settled. He had not finished learning star text, but there was no time. For the remaining 3 days, he studied hard, and occasionally met up with his 2 seniors and the other members of Budokai. On the 9th day, Jiang Chongkong had to leave. He still had to rush to register and participate in the Budokai competition. He still had 1,050,000 points. Although it could not be exchanged for much essence chi, it could be exchanged for some resources in the future to prepare for the Void Realm. Jiang Chongkong bade them farewell. The construction of a city was handed over to them. The next time he came back, he would have a city of his own. After leaving the Abyss, Jiang Chongkong was not in a hurry to leave. Instead, he first found a place to max out the 9 skies, 9 clouds technique. With his current strength, he was invincible below the advanced level. It was absolutely safe to stay alive. There was no need to worry about the Budokai competition. He would definitely be able to enter the Sin domain. What he had to consider was to obtain the greatest benefits in the Sin domain. With the improvement of the 9 skies, 9 clouds technique, Jiang Chongkong's attainments directly surpassed Yin Bugui's original work. Clouds covering the sun and moon was also completely mastered. The white cloud stargate in his body had completely solidified. The vast and mighty star power had increased, far surpassing other martial arts. Along with it, his body had become much lighter, and his strength had also increased. Jiang Chankong, Star Spirit Peak Middle Class Upper Grade Martial Art. Indestructible Vajra Divine Art. Perfect. 1/5625000 Tai Chi Mysterious Art. Perfect. 1/5625000 Graceful 3 Blades. Perfect. 1/5625000 Blazing Sun Technique. Perfect. 1/5625000 Yuling Art. Perfect. 1/5625000 Cold Moon Technique. Perfect. 1/5625000 9 Skies 9 Clouds Technique. Perfect. 5625000/5625000 Essence Chi Spirit. 3201555 After stabilizing his cultivation, Jiang Chankong felt the strength in his body. He wondered what would happen if he combined the Yuling art with the 9 Skies 9 Clouds technique. Flying through the air, Jiang Chankong gathered white clouds under his feet as he activated the Yuling art. Flying through the clouds. Although it was not a rainbow-colored cloud, but just a white cloud, its speed was at least twice as fast as when he flew through the air, or even when he flew on his sword. Flying through the sky and entering the ground, riding on the clouds and mist, I guess I'm lacking in entering the ground now. Jiang Chankong muttered to himself, but he felt that there were no good martial arts for entering the ground. Forget about the Earth King 8 techniques. Chapter 2:15. White clouds fluttered as Jiang Chankong rode the clouds away. He used his phone's navigation system and flew in a straight line. At the same time, he paid attention to the situation on the map. There were Flying Star Demon and High-Level Star Demon in some places. When there was a High-Level Star Demon, he planned to return to the main road. Roar! An hour later, a group of ugly Flying Star Demon with a pair of wings opened their bloody mouths and flew over. The blade flashed and the fire burned. Only the Star Stone was left in his hand. White clouds floated under his feet. Jiang Chankong changed to a lying position. It was more comfortable to travel like this. He rode on the cloud along the way. Any star demon that came was killed. After a day, Jiang Chankong could already see Jinghai Province's Wanli City. He might encounter a high-level star demon for the rest of the journey. He returned to the main road and used the Mystic Yang steps. There were many cars on the road. Jiang Chankong was like a beam of golden light, far surpassing these cars. The people in the cars were shocked. They thought that a star demon had flown over. Jiang Chankong checked the map as he hurried. It should have been a 2-day journey, but he only needed 1 day to cover it. In another 2 hours, they would arrive. 2 hours later, Jiang Chankong looked ahead. There were 5 people in front of him. They were all Star Soul warriors. These people were very strange. They set up tables and chairs, set up food and wine, and chatted. He ignored them. After walking for a while, he found more people gathered here. There were tables and chairs and wine. Some people set up tents and lit bonfires to barbecue. A group of people ate barbecued meat and chatted happily. These people also looked at him. Seeing him looking around strangely, it attracted their attention. One of the young men waved. "Brother, are you a foreigner?" "Yes, a foreigner." Jiang Chankong nodded and asked curiously, "What are you doing?" "Camping. We got tired of playing in the city, so we came out to get some fresh air." The young man smiled. "Do you want to join us?" "Thank you for your kindness, but no thanks. I still need to go to the 10,000-mile city." Jiang Chankong refused. "You're here to participate in the martial arts exchange, right? Don't be so anxious. There are a few people from Budokai over there. They plan to go to the city tomorrow." The young man pointed in the direction he was heading. There were a few groups of people setting up tents. "Thank you." Jiang Chankong thanked him and quickly walked forward. A peak star spirit lamented, "I can't believe this is the 10,000-mile city. I've always heard of the city of 10,000 miles, but I didn't know what it meant. Now I understand. There is no star demon within 10,000 miles. Someone sighed. "If only there were no star demon in the city we're in, and we could go camping and have picnics at will. How great would that be? Boundless star demon." Jiang Chankong looked around. No wonder these people dare to camp here. It would be great if we could settle down in the 10,000-mile city. This is the headquarters of the Federation. The Peak Star Spirit revealed a look of longing. There is no need to worry about the Star Demon's invasion here. There is endless wealth and countless resources. This time, there will be no problem. With the strength of our Budokai, 5 Peak Star Spirits can definitely get a place in the Sin Realm. 5 Peak Star Spirits, sigh. I have no confidence at all. Budokai has already gathered 9 Peak Star Spirits. A late-stage Star Spirit said in a deep voice, this time, 9 Peak Star Spirits will be difficult. Don't you know that the C family's young genius, Ji Shuiyu, has come out of seclusion? What does the C family's young genius have to do with us? The big forces won't participate in our competition, the others said. The late-stage Star Spirit sighed. Ji Shuiyu has nothing to do with us. But Ji Shuiyu was defeated in the Stability Province. Everyone was stunned. Defeated? That's impossible. Could it be a group of Peak Star Spirits? Indeed, a group of Peak Star Spirits. A group of Peak Star Spirits? Ji Shuiyu is only at the mid-stage Star Spirit realm. No matter how talented she is, she can't win against a group of Peak Star Spirits. There is nothing to say about being defeated by a group of Peak Star Spirits. Ji Shuiyu had not yet grown up, so it was normal for her to be defeated. The late-stage Star Spirit looked serious. I said that Ji Shuiyu led a group of Peak Star Spirits and was defeated by one person. Everyone was stunned and looked at him in disbelief. Someone laughed. Are you kidding? Spreading rumors? The late-stage Star Spirit said, if you don't believe me, you can check. A friend of mine in the Stability Province got the news. That person is called Jiang Changkong from Jianghai. Jiang Changkong? I seem to have heard of this name. Isn't he the leader of Jiang City Budokai in Jianghai Province? Yes, that's him. Brother, do you know him? Of course, he's a guy who built a city by himself. He built a city by himself. Now the Stability Province's Ping and City, in the Abyss, has begun to build city. His Budokai has been upgraded to Epic. I also heard that the Federation plans to increase the difficulty of Epic Budokai and build a city. No way. Jiang Changkong is such a bastard. He alone increased the difficulty of leveling up. Jiang Changkong, you guys continue talking. Goodbye. Increase the difficulty of leveling up in Budokai? That has nothing to do with me. I just want to earn star stones and settle down with Xiling and the others. Jiang Changkong was afraid that someone would recognize him. Increasing the difficulty would cause a lot of people to hate him. Along the way, he met many warriors and found that many were talking about him. Since Jianghai, he had never been defeated. He had repeatedly made great contributions and suppressed the heavenly talents of the big forces. Of course, most of all, he built a city by himself. Many Budokai people already hated him. If the difficulty was really increased, they might really hate him. Many Budokai people were worried about what to do if they met him. The towering city was thousands of miles away without a star demon. Star power was hidden deep within, and strange patterns covered the city walls. Jiang Changkong was awestruck. The city gave him a feeling that he needed to look up to it. It did not look like a city. It was more like a mountain that contained terrifying power. The strength of the soldiers guarding the city shocked Jiang Changkong. Middle stage, Star Realm. The guard were all in the mid-stage Star Realm. Thinking of his previous position as a minor commander of a major province, Jiang Changkong realized how generous the rewards were. Xing Tsang could only guard the gate. In the early stages of Stargate, he was given a minor commander position. It was obvious that he had made great contributions. Just as he was about to enter the city, 2 soldiers blocked his way with their spears. Sorry, please show your identification. If you are not from Wanli City, please register before entering. The headquarters is indeed different, Jiang Changkong sighed and said, this is my first time here. I don't know the rules. How do I register? One of the soldiers took out a palm-sized device and said, name, identity, and photo. Jiang Changkong, Jianghai Province, Jiang City Budokai, City Lord of Abyss City, Jiang Changkong said. Jiang Changkong, President, City Lord? The two soldiers were slightly stunned. Usually, only a city built by oneself would have the position of city lord. After a moment of daze, one of the soldiers looked at him with burning eyes. "You are from Anding province?" "Yes." Jiang Chongkong nodded. "It really is you." The two said excitedly, "President, no, city lord, it is an honor to meet you. I wonder if there's a chance for us to buy you a drink?" Jiang Chongkong. "Are you my fans?" Chapter 216. He had become so famous that he had fans. Although he had been prepared, he did not expect that he would become so famous. Not to mention the major Budokai. They would investigate the opponent's information. Unexpectedly, the guards of Wanli City were all his fans, and they even wanted to buy him a drink. Jiang Chongkong declined their invitation with a smile and entered the 10,000-mile city. It was impossible for him to drink. They still had to work, and Jiang Chongkong had to register. There were only 5 days left to register for the Sin Realm quota. Following the navigation, Jiang Chongkong quickly went to the registration location, which was the headquarters of the Budokai official website. Entering Wanli City, there were more people in the city, the lights were bright, and the starlight filled the air. It was beautiful. Jiang Chongkong walked in the crowd, and as he hurried, he looked at the nearby shops and people. Yao Ming did not lie to him. Big provinces and big cities were different, full of star treasures and star spirits. In just a few minutes, he saw several peak star spirits. Any one of them would be able to subdue Jianghai province. Jiang Chongkong could only sigh, as expected of the city where the Federation headquarters was located. In a tall building, 15 floors, the Budokai official website was on the 8th floor. Jiang Chongkong took the elevator and arrived at the 8th floor, where work was still going on. The first thing he saw was the hall, with hundreds of chairs, all filled with people. More than a dozen martial artists were queuing with invitations, and a young woman in front was registering them. Name, Budokai. Haiyan Province, Tianhai City, Budokai Chairman, Haidafu. Haidafu. Jiang Chongkong, who was at the back of the line, almost ran over to ask him if he knew Yin Yang Grinder. Overseas Wind Sand Island, Budokai Chairman, Shajingma. The people from the 11 islands are here too. On the seats, several martial artists whispered to each other. Almost all of the Federation's 36 provinces, the 11 islands, and the large Budokai were invited. After the presidents finished registering, it was soon Jiang Chongkong's turn. Name, Budokai, the young woman said formally. Jiang Chongkong, chairman of Jiangchang Budokai, Jianghai Province, Jiang Chongkong said. The young woman looked at him in surprise. She opened her mouth and wanted to say something, but she held back. "Don't tell me you're also my fan?" Jiang Chongkong muttered. "You want to treat me to a meal too?" Soon, the young woman took out a token and handed it to him. "Take this token and come here in 5 days." The token was completely black, with the word engraved on one side and the word sent on the other. "Thank you." Jiang Chongkong expressed his gratitude and put away the token. It was unknown what material the token was made of, but it was very sturdy. When Jiang Chongkong squeezed it, there was no damage at all. Jiang Chongkong, this guy still came. The discussion started again. The group of martial artists who had just completed their registration and had yet to leave also stared at him. Sha Jingma of Wind Sand Island couldn't help but say, "The Jiang Chongkong who defeated Jian Shuiyu and built a city all by himself. That's me." Jiang Chongkong nodded and said with a smile, "I've also heard a lot about you. Well, for example, Haidafu just now. No one believed this. You're from Jianghai and Anding provinces, and this is your first time in Wanli City. How could you have heard of us?" Everyone knew this was just a polite remark. Sha Jingma said, "I wonder if Chang Kaisheng has time to have a drink with us." Haidafu also chimed in, "Why don't I be the host? Let's get together and discuss this martial arts tournament together. How can I let you pay for it? Why don't you come to my hotel?" A young martial artist stood up from a chair and cupped his hands. "I'm Han Jiangbei. I sincerely invite you to have a chat. So if it's young Master Han from the Han family. Since young Master Han has invited us, we naturally have no reason to reject." Sha Jingma laughed. "That's right. How can we reject young Master Han's invitation?" Everyone said. Han Jiangbei smiled and looked at Jiang Changkong. Jiang Changkong hesitated for a moment. Then let's go together. I also want to understand how the Sin Domain's competition is going to be. It's good to be famous. You don't even have to pay to eat in the city where the Federation headquarters is located. Could it be that the Han family is a big family? The group of people majestically rushed towards Han Jiangbei's hotel. Han Jiangbei immediately booked a large private room. Immediately, good food and wine were served. It was obvious that he was prepared. The group of presidents were like old foxes. They were not polite at all. They ate big mouthfuls of meat and drank big bowls of wine. After 3 rounds of wine, Han Jiangbei put down his wine cup. Only then did the presidents reluctantly put down their chopsticks. Han Jiangbei cupped his fists. Everyone, other than Chiang Kai-sheng, I believe everyone knows about the competition for the Sin Domain's quota. Jiang Changkong said, I hope young Master Han can explain. The competition in Budokai is different from the big powerhouses. Budokai has 10 quotas. Every quota can bring 8 people in. Han Jiangbei explained. But the big powerhouses can bring 10 people in. Jiang Changkong nodded his head. What about the competition? He understood bringing people in. They were all talents. The Sin Domain was filled with murderers. They were there to reap the harvest and not to throw away their lives. If anyone were to die inside, it could only be said that they were unlucky. If it's a competition, Chiang Kai-sheng might suffer a loss. Because he can bring people in, the competition this time is also a team competition. Han Jiangbei explained. That means a president can bring 8 people to participate in the battle. Suffer a loss? Chiang Kai-sheng will not suffer a loss. He is a genius who defeated a group of star spirits. Sha Jingmo raised her wine cup. When we meet Chiang Kai-sheng, please be lenient. The other presidents also raised their cups. But Jiang Changkong saw that a few of them did not seem to care. They looked as though they were casually complimenting him. Jiang Changkong did not care about their attitude. He said humbly, It's all a rumor. I don't have the strength. It's all a friend's help. Chiang Kai-sheng, Yin Shui was defeated by you. You don't have to be humble. Han Jiangbei laughed. I confirmed it. Why don't you tell me what your goal is? Jiang Changkong said. Han Jiangbei's expression turned serious. It's none other than the quota for the Sin Domain. Chiang Kai-sheng is alone. It will be a waste if we don't use the remaining 8 quotas. The quota is easy. I only care about star stones. Jiang Changkong said. Wasn't it the same as the quota for the distorted land? Chiang Kai-sheng, don't be anxious. Han Jiangbei smiled. Regarding the quota, other than star stones, we can use other methods. For example, we can cooperate. Jiang Changkong said indifferently. I only care about star stones. I don't need to cooperate. Chiang Kai-sheng is powerful. I admire you. Do you have the confidence to face the forces of the big provinces and the many criminals of the Sin Domain? Han Jiangbei was not angry. He smiled. Moreover, there are some special methods that Chiang Kai-sheng should pay attention to. What? Are you going to threaten me? Jiang Changkong's eyes were slightly cold. Chiang Kai-sheng, don't misunderstand. Sha Jingmo said. The people of a Sin Domain also form groups. Moreover, some people do not hesitate to use despicable means to obtain the quota. Jiang Changkong thought for a moment and said, Let's get the quota first. The competition has not started yet. Young Master Han is too anxious. Han Jiangbei smiled and did not continue this topic. Chiang Kai-sheng is right. If Chiang Kai-sheng has any difficulties in the next few days, you can look for me at any time. Many thanks for young Master Han's good intentions. I still have important matters to attend to. I'll take my leave first. After Jiang Changkong finished speaking, he cupped his hands and left. Since he had already said this much, there was no meaning in him staying any longer. In any case, it was time to eat and drink. After walking out of the private room, the people inside continued to talk. Jiang Changkong was about to go downstairs when a fat figure blocked his line of sight. Let me tell you, Jiang Changkong and I are very familiar with each other. We are close brothers. As long as I ask, his 8 quotas will be mine. The fat figure reeked of alcohol. His body swayed and his eyes blurred. You don't believe me? That brother of mine is very powerful. He can fight a group of people alone. Jiang Chongkong, Fatty Nan, next time before you use my reputation to act cool, can you give me star stones? This is toward infringement. Chapter 217. Back in the Tranquil province, my brother Jiang Chongkong fought against dozens of peak star spirits. Guess what? One move. My brother only used one move. Half of them died, and the other half were seriously injured. His face was red from the alcohol or from the excitement. Nan Pang's face was red. You didn't see it. If you had, you would have been scared out of your wits. Young Lord Nan, is he really as powerful as you say? The young men were shocked. I'm telling the truth. One man built a city, don't you know? Brother Chongkong killed the star demon alone without any help. Nanshin's chubby face trembled as he burped. Let me tell you another secret. Actually, my true relationship with Chongkong is that we are sworn brothers. Yeah. Jiang Chongkong was dumbfounded. Since when did I become sworn brothers with you? Nan Tianpang. Nan Tianpang was furious. Who? Who dares to call me that? Do you want to die? Do you know that my brother is Jiang Chongkong? Bang! Nan Tianpang fell to the ground. The young men were furious. Who are you? How dare you attack young Lord Nan? Nan Tianpang got up from the ground and glared at the man who attacked him. Then he sobered up and said, Brother Chongkong. Ha! Jiang Chongkong sneered. How come I don't remember becoming sworn brothers with you? Ahem, Brother Chongkong. You haven't eaten yet, right? Come, let's have a drink. Fatty Nan Tian gave a hollow laugh and hurriedly pulled him towards a private room at the side. No thanks. Han Jiangbei treated us just now. I'm full. Jiang Chongkong refused coldly. Han Jiangbei? Who does he think he is? Shuiyu and Meng Jia are both here. I will tell you the details. Nan Tianpang hurriedly said. He lowered his voice and said, I said all that just to pass the message to you. Oh, go on. See if I'll believe you or not. Jiang Chongkong mocked. Is that so? Invite him in. Nan Tianpang quickly pulled him into the private room. The few youths beside them looked at the two of them strangely. Without saying a word, they followed behind them into the private room. Inside the private room were Han Shuiyu, Yao Ming, and a few strangers he didn't know. Chongkong, what a coincidence. We thought that you would only come after we spread the news. Yao Ming stood up and said with a smile, Sit, let's eat together. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently, I've eaten. Are you guys also here for the Sin Domain quota? Did you really lure me here? Yao Ming looked at Han Shuiyu beside her and said, Shuiyu will tell you about this. Han Shuiyu nodded and introduced. Beside you are the leaders of the large Budokai. Some of them are our own, and some of them are invited by us. Jiang Chongkong nodded lightly and listened to her continue. Once the quota was obtained, it was not as simple as collecting resources. It was also a ticket to the Void Realm. As long as one obtained the quota, entered the Sin Domain, and was able to come out alive, they would basically be qualified to go to the Void Realm. Of course, it was only qualification. The Federation would invite these Budokai members to join the Federation's forces and enter the Void Realm. As for the large forces, they could also give tickets to join the large forces. If one was particularly outstanding and had great gains in the Sin Domain, they could choose not to join any forces and choose to cooperate with the large forces. However, this cooperation was only if the large forces agreed to bring them to the Void Realm and protect them for 2 years. If there were gains, they would have priority to sell them to the partners. And the initial bargaining chip of this cooperation was the quota in their hands. There were many Budokai who could gather 9 peak astral souls to participate in the competition for the quota in the Sin Domain. The few Budokai that were doing so had at least 7 or 8 peak astral souls. After watching these martial arts tournaments, Jiang Chongkong finally understood why the Ding Ding state clung to their thighs and didn't even care about the Sea Clan. What was the use of a beginner astral soul? They were not even qualified to enter the Void Realm as cannon fodder. Han Jiangbei's Han family was not considered a large force, but they also had high-level warriors and had a place in the Void Realm. The battle of the Sin Domain is also to send talents and new blood to the Void Realm. Han Shuiyu slowly said, The Void Realm is boundless and has endless resources. I believe Chiang Kai-sheng will not miss it. If it's just a simple cooperation, forget it. I can wait until I reach the high level before entering the Void Realm. Jiang Changkong said indifferently. I only want to sell star stones for the 8 quotas. Of course, if possible, star crystals are fine too. Changkong, don't be anxious. Yao Ming smiled and said, your strength is recognized by all 3 of us, so let's change the way we cooperate. Oh, Jiang Changkong raised his eyebrows. What kind of cooperation? In the Void Realm, some of the harsh environments are difficult to survive, and there are countless star demons. If you want to survive well in there, star stones are very important. It can even be said that no amount of star stones is enough to burn. Yao Ming continued, so your plan to sell star stones is destined to fail. No one will buy them. Jiang Changkong fell into deep thought. The quota in the Sin domain was very precious, but with these geniuses, the Sin domain was basically strong. With 8 more quotas, it would be safer and the harvest would be more abundant. However, unless there were 8 geniuses or one more strong person like him, the harvest would not be particularly big. If it was sold too expensive, he would not be able to recover his capital. Cheap. Jiang Changkong would not sell it either. Yao Ming continued. The way our 3 families cooperate is to have a place in the Void Realm. A place? Jiang Changkong frowned slightly. If you choose to enter through cooperation, the 3 of us will open up an area for you to build a basic survival stronghold. It will not be protected, but the level of danger is not high. The nearby star demon are all below the advanced level. Yao Ming said, because it's a cooperative relationship, you can pay the price and ask the 3 of us to help. If you find anything good, you can eat it yourself. The 3 families will not fight for it. Of course, if the 3 families find the same thing, you can't fight for it either. Even if I find a star crystal vein, you won't be tempted? Jiang Changkong asked. He was a little tempted by the proposal. Jian Shuyue smiled and said, if there is a star crystal vein, I'm afraid you will ask us to help. Jiang Changkong would not be able to defend the star crystal vein. At that time, wouldn't he still have to look for them? The 3 families had a good plan, but Jiang Changkong was not a fool. If that's the case, you can just give me a piece of land and send me away. I still think it's better to go after I reach the advanced level. You better state your conditions. As long as it's not too much, I'll agree to one of your conditions. Jian Shue said coldly, I know you won't join the Federation Army, but it's not that you won't be tempted. You definitely want more benefits. Jiang Changkong shrugged. You really know me. How about this? I want a mech. A mech was equivalent to an advanced martial artist. As long as he had a mech, he would have the strength of an advanced martial artist. You really dare to ask? Jian Shue laughed angrily. Mechs are expensive to make. Almost all of them are made of high-grade materials. Jiang Changkong said indifferently. I only have this one condition. I can promise you that in Sin Domain, I won't make things difficult for you. The few of them fell silent. Not make things difficult for them in Sin Domain. Thinking about Jiang Changkong's strength, they felt a toothache. This fellow had even killed Yunbu Gui. Yunbu Gui, who was at the peak of the star spirit realm, was a proud son of heaven. Even their elder brothers and sisters did not have the confidence to kill him. Thinking about that, the 3 of them looked at each other. 7th level lower grade mech. 5 pieces of 7th level lower grade star stones. 8th level mech. Scram. Chapter 218. Why were these guys the same as Chinhua? They didn't know how to bargain when doing business. They didn't even understand the logic of asking for a sky-high price and asking for a low price. It was a headache to discuss business with such people. After a long time of persuasion, they finally finalized the cooperation. A top 7th order mecha without star stones. This was the condition that the 3 forces had offered, and it was also their bottom line. Although there were no star stones, it didn't matter. Professor Yin could extract star power as a power source. It might not be able to unleash the full power of the mecha, but it was still more powerful than a low-grade 7th order mecha. Suppressing early and middle stage star embryo martial artists was still a very easy task. As for the later stage, it depended on whether the energy could keep up. Forget about the peak. Even with the top 7th order star stones, they might not be able to win. After the discussion, the group of people ate and drank. These Budokai leaders were very envious of Jiang Changkong's treatment, but they didn't dare say anything. Jiang Changkong's preferential treatment was earned through fighting. They dared to say that they wouldn't make things difficult for Nie Shuiyu in the Sin domain. If they said that, they would be beaten up in minutes. Moreover, whether they could enter the Sin domain was another matter. In this current situation, the major forces were first pulling people over and talking about cooperation. They were casting a wide net and trapping as many as they could. Also, this group of people from the major forces was shameless. Budokai's Star Soul Peak is not enough. No problem. The major forces have plenty of people to help you gather enough Star Soul Peak, as long as the quota is given after the matter is done. We'll have to trouble Cheng Kaisheng. 3 people from the Nye family, 3 from the Alcade Chamber of Commerce, and 2 from the Nan family will join Jiang City's Budokai. Nie Shuiyu raised her glass. Okay, but will your people participate in the competition? Jiang Changkong asked. No, we believe in Cheng Kaisheng's strength. Nan Tianping shook his head. Jiang Changkong alone could beat up a group of peak star spirits. Even if their people participated, they would just be going through the motions. When the time came, what would the people outside say? The 3 forces had found a good thigh, and he was leading them? Sometimes it was necessary to have a sense of shame. Yao Ming took a sip of wine and said calmly, Be careful, Changkong. I'm afraid Xingjin's men will come after you. Xingjin? It's fine as long as he's not a high-level martial artist. Jiang Changkong said faintly. First, there were 5 people from the Gold League in the Ending province. Then, there were 8. The elites of the Jin family were also killed. Xingjin's people would not let this matter rest. Yao Ming said solemnly, Although Changkong is strong, he has some tricks up his sleeves, such as the poison of the sinful realm. Jiang Changkong's expression froze, and he said in a deep voice, I understand. Thank you for the reminder. If he couldn't face them head-on, then he might not be able to withstand the underhanded methods of poisoning them. After the meal, everyone went their separate ways. Nan Tianping booked a room for him. Now, even his room was free. The 3 families also sent 8 people to join Budokai. They were all peak star spirits. After all, going to Sin Domain was not for fun. If not for the fact that he had something to do in Sin Domain and needed to save people, he could have brought people to Sin Domain. With his current strength, it would not be a problem for him to beat up Sin Domain alone. Looking at the information about Sin Domain, the people in Sin Domain were all restricted and could not break through to high-level martial artists. Unless they came out and started anew, there would be a chance for them to continue breaking through. This was also the reason why Yun Bugui had only been a peak star spirit for more than 10 years. What he was most worried about was whether the people in Sin Domain had all run away and whether that group of people had taken away all their star stones. If they went and all their star stones were gone, that would be depressing. He asked Yao Ming about this and got the answer. No. No matter how daring that group of people was, they could not bring too many people out. Even Yin Bugui, they had found out that he had died in Sin Domain. They had created the illusion of death before they dared to bring people out. After asking, Jiang Changkong began to rest. After a quiet night, Jiang Changkong was dragged out by Nan Tianping the next day. There was no other purpose, just to eat and drink, to see a different leader of Budokai, and at the same time to give Fatty Nan some face. This guy, no matter who he met, would say, my brother Jiang Changkong built a city all by himself. If they met in the fight for a spot in Sin Domain, he could show mercy, but if they did not follow him, then it would be hard to say. For the sake of his level 7 mech, Jiang Changkong could only pinch his nose and watch him bluff. The remaining 5 days passed like this. Jiang Changkong felt that Nan Tianping had become fatter. The fight for a spot in Sin Domain finally began. Jiang Changkong took the token and came to the registration area. A middle-aged man, his aura was restrained, and Jiang Changkong could not see his depth. He should be a high-level martial artist. The middle-aged man was dressed in armor, his face resolute, and there was a trace of killing intent around him. He should be a strong martial artist in the army. My name is Shanha, one of the hosts of Budokai this time. Now, I will tell you the rules of the fight in Budokai. First, there can be no deaths. Second, no medicines that can temporarily boost one's strength, and no poisons. Third, after the opponent surrenders, the battle will end immediately, and no further attacks are allowed. Fourth, a maximum of 9 people will fight randomly. After speaking for half an hour, Shauna stopped and said, "Those are the rules. Now, take your tokens and head outside the city, 300 miles east." The group of Budokai leaders left the building and headed out of the city. And Shanha left the city, rose into the air, and turned into a stream of light. The other martial artists also used their own methods. Some took out cars from their spatial equipment, and some even had flying equipment. Jiang Changkong rose into the air and chased after Shanha. Flying? They're the high-level martial artists hidden among us? The martial artists below were confused. A high-level martial artist in Budokai? Was this a joke? Ignorant. That's Jiang City's leader, Jiang Changkong. Star spirits can fly. It's him. He built a city all by himself. Hearing the voices below, Jiang Changkong's mouth twitched. The deepest impression these people had of him was that he built a city all by himself. Jiang Changkong chased after Shanha. Of course, his speed was definitely not as fast as Shanha. He didn't know what level Shanha was at. A distance of 300 miles was just a few breaths' time for him. As he descended, Jiang Changkong discovered that there were still many martial artists here. The soldiers were maintaining order. These martial artists were all here to watch the battle. It wasn't a secret that they were fighting for. Landing on the ground, Shanha glanced at him and said, "Jiang Changkong, are you interested in joining me? Thank you for your kind offer, but I'm used to being alone." Jiang Changkong declined his kind offer. Shanha smiled. And Yuan Shan is right. No one can take you away. Jiang Changkong's expression changed. "Are you acquainted with Yuan Shan? I'm his uncle." Shanha said, "You did well in the Anding province, but some people are holding a grudge against you. After all, you've killed many people. Be careful when you go to the Void Realm in the future." "Thank you for telling me." Jiang Changkong cupped his hands and mumbled in his heart, "Uncle, you look even younger than in Yuan Shan." However, it made sense. High-level martial artists would have an increased lifespan, so being younger was not a big deal. As for how long they could live, Jiang Changkong was not sure. According to the Federation's records, high-level martial artists who had not died of old age had basically died in battle. As for the other high-level martial artists holding a grudge against him, he did not take it to heart. His trip to the sinful realm should also allow him to enter the advanced realm. It was fine as long as he was not an astral body martial artist. If he was, he could ask the 3 families for help or join the army himself. The Federation would definitely be happy to do so. "They're here." After saying that, Shanha stopped talking to him and looked at the Budokai forces that were rushing over. Chapter 219. Budokai had gathered. Almost all the powerful people from the Federation's 36 provinces and 11 overseas islands were here. It was a black mass that stretched as far as the eye could see. There were probably more than 10,000 people participating this time. The 36 provinces and 11 overseas islands were divided. Other than a few small cities, there were as many cities as there were in Budokai. Some of the larger provinces had more than one city in each city, and there were more than one Budokai. If the competition continued, it would take some time before it was over. More than 10,000 people gathered, but no one made a sound. They all kept quiet, and Shanha rose into the air, his expression indifferent. The competition will be divided into 3 regions: the ordinary provinces, the larger provinces, and the overseas islands. Each region will select 30 Budokai, and there will be 10 spots. 10 miles to the left is the ordinary province region. 10 miles to the right is the overseas islands region. This is the larger province region. Everyone, go to your respective regions according to the cities in which Budokai is located. Jiang Changkong was taken aback. What about the smaller provinces? And Shanha glared at him. The smaller provinces will go to the ordinary provinces. Jiang Changkong was the only one from a smaller province. The other smaller provinces would never have the chance to participate in this. The Budokai people split up and went to different regions. Jiangchankong also went to the left, 10 miles away. There were also troops and spectators here, as well as devices monitoring the area. Nan Tianping and Yao Ming were also in the crowd. There was also a high-level martial artist here, with a device in his hand. Jiang Chankong looked at the Budokai, people who had rushed over. There were about a few thousand of them. Is everyone here now? The high-level martial artist's expression was indifferent as he floated in the air. His voice was not loud, but it resounded clearly in everyone's ears. The token in Jiang Chankong's hand glowed. The high-level martial artist looked at the device and relaxed slightly. Very good, everyone is here. I am Nan Yin Yang, one of the hosts of the Sin Realm competition. Now, the random battles will begin. As soon as he finished speaking, the device glowed, and a huge starlight screen condensed with a bunch of names on it. Battlefield 2, Jiang Chankong versus Tianfeng Budokai. The first thing Jiang Chankong saw was his name, Tianfeng Budokai. He did not know which province he was from, nor did he need to know. He just needed to fight. There were 300 battle zones in the surroundings, and each zone had a special stone tablet that marked the number of the battlefield. Jiang Chankong flew through the air and arrived at the second battlefield. His opponent had arrived as well. All 9 of them were peak astral spirits. One man built a city. I have long heard of your name. 9 peak astral spirits stepped onto the battlefield and looked at Jiang Chankong solemnly. Jiang Chankong's expression was indifferent. It's just an empty reputation. Everyone, how about we decide this in one move? All right. The people of Tianfeng Budokai looked solemn as they felt a little more confident. If it was a protracted battle, with Jiang Chankong's strength, he could completely defeat them one by one. If it was a direct battle, they might have a chance of winning if they joined forces. One of the peak astral spirits sneered. We've been hearing about you these days. Today, let us see if your reputation is real. Cut the crap. Let's get started. Jiang Chankong stood with his hands behind his back, his expression indifferent. The device in the air was also pointed at them. In the crowd, Nan Tianping and Yao Ming were watching the battle. Mengjia, do you think Jiang Chankong's move will be a little difficult? Not difficult at all. He will probably go all out. Right now, most people in Budokai have changed. Yao Ming said solemnly. Right now, people in Budokai had basically been replaced by people from the major forces, except for the president. The peak astral spirits sent by the major forces were not weak, and were basically stronger than ordinary peak astral spirits. As they spoke, the battle began. The 9 astral spirits from Tianfeng let out a low roar, their astral power vast and mighty, instantly unleashing their full strength. The 9 peak astral spirits unleashed their power, dazzling starlight shooting straight into the sky, shaking a radius of hundreds of meters. Jiang Chankong stood with his hands behind his back, watching the 9 attacks coming at him. The blazing sun astral power in his body suddenly erupted. Rumble. The vast blazing sun astral power, wherever the golden light passed, engulfed the 9 peak astral spirits. Puff. The 9 figures flew out at the same time, blood spilling. They were instantly seriously injured. You have lost, Jiang Chankong said indifferently. Number 2, Jiang Chankong wins, Nan Yin Yang's voice came. Jiang Chankong didn't stay and directly left. The 9 martial artists from Tianfeng had just climbed to their feet, their faces full of horror. One move? Jiang Kong didn't even make a move just now. He only unleashed his astral power. What kind of monster was this? Even the talents of the major forces couldn't compare to him. Could they? The other competition venues in Budokai were all stunned when they heard this. It's over? We haven't even started, and Jiang Chankong is already over? Even surrendering can't be that fast. The most confused were Nan Tianping and Yao Ming. Can't you at least put in some effort? Where's the one move you promised? I'm afraid this guy is even stronger, Nan Tianping said solemnly. I wonder if my brother can beat him. I'm not sure. I hope we can see some of his strength next. Yao Ming's face was solemn. Fortunately, he has the blazing sun astral power. while Jiang Changyue has the lunar astral power. Nan Tianping was a little comforted. Yes, these two types of astral powers can be suppressed by the Nan family and the Feng family. Even if they can't win, they won't lose. Yes, Jiang Changkong will have no problem getting the quota, but once he enters in realm, he won't be able to take all the astral stones. Yao Ming heaved a sigh of relief. She knew Jiang Changkong too well. He valued the astral stones too much. Once he entered, he would definitely find a way to suppress the criminals in Sin Realm and plunder the astral stones. If he took all the astral stones, what was the point of them entering? Now, they could only hope that the Nan family's prodigy could restrain Jiang Changkong. However, they could never have imagined that Jiang Changkong had cultivated the Nine Skies, Nine Clouds art. Jiang Changkong left the battlefield and returned to Nan Yin Yang's side. He glanced at Nan Tianping, walked over, and sat down beside them. "Congratulations," the two said. "What's there to congratulate? It's a sure win." Jiang Changkong sighed softly. "But they're too slow. When will the next round start?" "The two. You're right, they're holding you back." The spectating martial artists couldn't bear to listen anymore and moved further away. In the past, it would take half a day or even a few days for a winner to be decided. But Jiang Changkong ended it as soon as he got on the stage. Jiang Changkong sat beside the two. There was a device here that projected the matches of the three regions. Some were for the ordinary provinces, while others were for the outer islands and the major provinces. So slow. Is there any way to finish the matches faster? For example, fighting 100 at once? Jiang Changkong asked. You can fight 100? Nan Tianping's face darkened. Even his brother couldn't fight 100. I can try. It'll be faster this way. Jiang Changkong held his chin. The last thing he was afraid of was group battles. As long as they were not of the same origin and the astral powers could not be fused, he could fight a few hundred more. It would only take time. The two, would it kill you to stop being so pretentious? I realize that you're the most pretentious and pretentious among us. I can't help it. That's the rule. Yao Ming was speechless. Jiang Changkong also knew that it was the rule. Even if he defeated all 10 of them, these people would still have to compete. He was about to say something when Jiang Changkong's body stiffened. Someone was spying on him maliciously. If it was just a casual glance, his 5 senses wouldn't give him much feedback. Besides, he could feel maliciousness. He turned around and saw that everyone was watching the matches. No one was paying attention to him. Thinking of this, he whispered in Yao Ming's ear, "Someone is spying on me. Get someone to investigate. Don't let anyone know." Yao Ming nodded discreetly. She twirled her ring with her left hand, and a faint starlight flashed. Chapter 220. On the screen, a group of martial artists were locked in a fierce battle. Jiang Changkong was bored. He was not in the mood to watch this kind of battle. He might be interested if they were geniuses. Nan Tianping, on the other hand, was engrossed in it. Sometimes he was angry, sometimes he was excited, as if he was fighting. He was starting to understand why they had to start fighting for the spots so early. If these people fought for another day, they would not be able to choose the top 10 in a month. Bored, Jiang Changkong began to pay attention to other issues. "How many spots do you have?" 20, Yao Ming said. That was double of theirs. That was a lot. Before he could express his envy, Yao Ming continued. "The Federation also has 20. You can bring 10 people, so there are 20 left. That's 220 people. The Federation also has 220 people. Adding on the people from Budokai, including the president, that's 90. Jiang Changkong calculated. Are there enough criminals in the Sin Realm? Yao Ming said in a low voice. The sinners in the Sin Realm are more and stronger than you think. Jiang Changkong took out his phone and pressed the calculator. 530 people. 1,000 lower grade star stones for each person. That's 530,000. 53 million essences. That way, as long as he robbed them, it would be enough for him to step into the advanced level. Thinking of the essences, Jiang Changkong was excited. Yao Ming looked at him in a daze. Why are you shaking? Look at you. Are you excited? Also, what do you mean by that? She could not help but pinch him. Yao Ming said in a low voice, Do you want to die? Jiang Changkong was stunned. That was true. If he really robbed all these people, he would definitely be dead. These people could be said to represent the entire Federation. If Jiang Chongkong really did that, the Sin Realm would probably lock him up. It's just a simple calculation. Jiang Chongkong laughed dryly and said, "We are partners. Why would we make a move against you?" However, he would definitely not be polite to those who dare to provoke him. Yao Ming said in a low voice, "Be careful. There is more than one heavens chosen imprisoned in the Sin domain. Some of them are real demons. I like this kind of heavenly prodigy and demon. They are very strong and have a lot of star stones in their hands. It is worth it for me to go and fight for them." Jiang Chongkong had made up his mind. With his undefeatable capabilities, after he enters the realm of sin, he will destroy the city of sin. The two of them chatted while paying attention to the competition. How did this team lose? Jiang Chongkong looked at the instrument. The battle just now was clearly inextricable, but it suddenly ended. Yao Ming said indifferently, "It's normal for them to go easy. Some major forces will bribe their opponents. Isn't this a random battle? You can bribe them during the battle." Jiang Chongkong, "Well, you guys are rich. Shouldn't I leave a spot open for you guys to bribe?" However, after some thought, he decided to forget about it. A high-ranking mecha in the Void Realm was already pretty good. It was not until the evening that the first battle in the ordinary provinces ended. Half of the participants were eliminated. Nan Yin Yang spoke again. "Rest for 2 hours. The second battle will begin." The battle had just ended. Other than Jiang Chongkong, those who had bribed their opponents were basically exhausted. Jiang Chongkong felt that he was being watched again and whispered in Yao Ming's ear. Yao Ming said calmly, "Don't worry about anything. Just pretend you didn't notice." Jiang Chongkong didn't make any moves and just watched the battle by himself. 2 hours later, the second battle began. Jiang Chongkong was on the third battlefield. Once again, without a single move, he heavily injured his opponent with his astral power and ended the battle. Jiang Chongkong returned to Yao Ming's side and sighed. "If this goes on, are we going to fight until tomorrow? A Star Soul martial artist can go without rest for a few days and nights." Yao Ming said softly, "Under normal circumstances, we have to fight for 4 days and rest for 1 day. Fine, I just think it's too boring." Jiang Chongkong sprawled out in his seat and could not help but pat Nan Tianping. Nan Tianping was dumbfounded. "Why did you hit me? I have nothing better to do." Nan Tianping, "If you have nothing better to do, can't you just beat yourself up?" However, Nan Tianping was a smart man and quickly came up with an idea. "If you're bored, you can eat. That's how I relieve my boredom. You're the same as Ing Yinxue, but Senior Yinxue doesn't gain weight no matter how much she eats." Yao Ming patted him. "Take a look at the message I sent you." Jiang Chongkong unlocked his phone and narrowed his eyes. "Sheng Jin, are you sure?" "I'm sure. You've killed many of Sheng Jin's men in Anding Province. They won't let it go. They're not in a hurry to make a move. They probably want to continue understanding your strength through Budokai." Yao Ming explained. Jiang Chongkong frowned slightly. "What will you do next according to the usual routine of the major forces?" Yao Ming rolled her eyes at him. "What do you mean by major forces? The Alcade Chamber of Commerce would never do such a thing." "Fine, let me put it another way. If it were you, how would you deal with me?" Jiang Chongkong asked. "We're friends." Yao Ming shook her head and said, "I've never thought about how to deal with you. Why don't you ask Nan Tianping?" Jiang Chongkong could not help but glance at Nan Tianping, who was ordering food next to him. He patted him and asked a profound question. Nan Tianping immediately said, "I'll poison you, of course, and then trick the rest of the people in Budokai into killing you. You won't let your brother do it?" Jiang Chongkong raised an eyebrow. "The heavenly talents are all fighting for a spot. There's no time. Besides, you're so strong. How can I let my brother take the risk?" Nan Tianping curled his lips. "It's not easy to train a heavenly talent. Besides, there are so many idiots in Budokai. It'd be a waste not to use them." "Poison? Budokai can't take me down," Jiang Chongkong said. "Besides, I know you." Fatty Nantian frowned and pondered for a long time before saying, "The solar star formation uses the blazing sun to restrain your blazing sun. adding on some restraining devices. It won't be a problem to take you down after paying a small price. Bang! Nan Tian Pang crawled into the empty space in the chair. His fat body struggled for a while, and he said angrily, Jiang Changkong, why did you hit me again? The martial artists around them looked over curiously. Did these two have a conflict? Jiang Changkong pulled him up, his face dark. You really want to harm me. You planned it so carefully. Nan Tian Pang. You're the one who told me to say that. Next time you ask me such a question, I'll be an idiot if I answer with one word. Fatty Nin felt wronged. Jiang Changkong ignored him and continued to watch the other battles. Yao Ming said in a low voice, Tian Wang is right. These are the broken hands. However, only the Nan family knows the Sunstar Array. The other families only know some incomplete and weak ones. It's different now. Even Nan Tian Pang's fifth uncle is in trouble. Jiang Changkong shook his head. Both Yin Shuiyue's third uncle and Nan Tian Pang's fifth uncle were working for someone else and attacked Yin Shuiyue. Under such circumstances, how could they not get a Sunstar Array? Don't worry too much. They won't dare to attack you if you're with us, Yao Ming said. That won't do. Jiang Changkong shook his head. If we don't let them attack, they'll keep watching. It'll be a big problem. Yao Ming was shocked. You want to create opportunities for them? Chapter 221. Jiang Changkong didn't want to be watched all the time. It was best to lure them out and kill them all. Maybe he could get some star stones. In the morning, Jiang Changkong almost fell asleep before the second battle was over. Food was provided. Nan Tian Pang had a big appetite and liked to eat good food, so he asked someone to bring it to him. At noon, the third battle finally began. Jiang Changkong was still the same. Now everyone present knew him. It ended too fast, and he was too strong. As Yao Ming said, he fought for 4 days, rested for 1 day, and arrived here before 7 the next day to continue the competition. Jiang Changkong and the others returned to the city. Nan Tian Wang and Yao Ming were very free, so they continued to eat and drink with him. The competition between the big forces is over, Nan Tian Pang said while looking at his phone. Jiang Changkong raised his eyebrows. So fast. There aren't many big forces to begin with. In order to end the battles quickly and not waste everyone's cultivation time, all the heavenly talents fought. Yao Ming explained, I should have fought with you. Jiang Changkong sighed. The two rolled their eyes. It would have been faster if you had joined the Federation. With your strength, the Federation would have given you a spot. Jiang Changkong curled his lips and went back to his room to sleep after eating. Just as he closed his eyes, the doorbell rang. Who is it? Jiang Changkong opened the door and saw a familiar face. Han Jiangbei, why are you here? Chang Kai-sheng, what do you think about the matter we talked about last time? Han Jiangbei smiled. I've already cooperated with the Alcade Chamber of Commerce. Jiang Changkong said lightly. I can only refuse young Master Han's kindness. What a pity. Han Jiangbei sighed and said, what a pity for Wang Ruiqing. After saying that, Han Jiangbei turned around and was about to leave. Jiang Changkong's expression changed slightly, and he hurriedly stopped him. Wait. Wang Ruiqing was the person Professor Yun asked him to save. She was also a professor, and her research institute was even bigger than Professor Yun's. Before entering the Sin domain, he was in possession of a peak 8th level mech, and was able to create 9th level mechs, and was even one of the top researchers. Now that he was imprisoned in the Sin domain, although his strength was only at the Star Treasury level, but with his abilities he was doing very well in the Sin domain. Han Jiangbei stopped in his tracks, turned around, and smiled. Chang Kai-sheng, are you in the mood to talk now? I'm afraid young Master Han's hand will not be able to reach into Sin domain, right? Jiang Changkong said coldly. He did not believe that Han Jiangbei had the ability to evade the large powerhouses and fish out the people from the Sin domain. The smile on Han Jiangbei's face disappeared, and he said, I really don't have that ability, but I can guarantee that he's alive. Jiang Changkong muttered, I can't give you the quota. Change your conditions. Apart from the quota, there's only the star stones. I wonder if Chang Kai-sheng can afford it? Change your condition. Han Jiangbei, I can see that you have no sincerity at all. Change conditions. You only know how to change conditions? Chang Kai-sheng since you're so insincere, don't blame me for being impolite. Han Jiangbei's face turned cold. Jiang Changkong's expression turned cold as well. Before you said those words to me, did you ever think that you can walk out of here alive? I guarantee that if Wang Ruiqing dies, you will be buried with him. It was impossible for him to have the star stones. He did not have them, and only had 1,006th level lower grade star stones, which were used to participate in the Sin domain. Taking a deep breath, Han Jiangbei did not expect that Jiang Changkong would act like a bastard. This business deal was completely out of the question. Thinking about that, he snorted and said, "Forget it, go and meet him yourself. I'm just here to pass the message." Huh? Jiang Changkong frowned and was about to say something, but Han Jiangbei had already left a piece of paper and turned to leave. Jiang Changkong took the piece of paper, glanced at it, then left the hotel and headed for the outskirts of the city. After leaving the city, he flew in the air and soon arrived at the destination. A man in a black outfit was standing there with his hands behind his back. "You're the one who led me here?" Jiang Changkong asked. The man in a black outfit turned around and restrained his astral power. "Chiang Kai-sheng, there are two options in front of you." "I don't want to listen to your nonsense," Jiang Changkong said indifferently. Only the man in a black outfit's eyes were exposed, and they looked even darker in the night. 1. Join us, and give us half of your gains in the Sin realm. 2. Give us the place that the three families have promised you. 2. You and Wang Ruiqing will both die. Now that the Sin realm is about to open, can you still meddle in it?" Jiang Changkong said sarcastically. "I'm afraid you won't dare to come any closer. If you can, you should be threatening me with Wang Ruiqing right now. Just a sentence is enough, and many people will go crazy for a sliver of hope." The man in a black outfit said indifferently, "Even if we don't kill her now, after the matter in the Sin realm is over, we can continue to do so." Jiang Changkong's expression darkened. The man in a black outfit continued, "Jiang Changkong, you have the strength and talent, and only we are the most suitable circle for you." "Oh, the most suitable circle?" Jiang Changkong's gaze congealed. "Could it be that all of you are geniuses?" The man in a black outfit said, "That's right. Only geniuses have the qualifications to join us. The matter in the Inding province can be considered as a test for you. You have displayed sufficient strength and talent. As long as you join us, Sheng Jin will not make things difficult for you, and we will not make things difficult for you." Jiang Changkong's expression was cold. "I have something unfortunate to tell you." "Huh?" The man in a black outfit's gaze congealed, and his astral power surged. "You want to make a move? Coming to see me alone is the most unwise thing you have ever done." Jiang Changkong snorted. A blade aura sliced through the night, silently arriving in front of him. Bang! A wave of majestic astral power exploded. The vast might shook the surroundings. The power in the man in black outfit's body was only slightly weaker than Yinbu Gui, but this bit of power was not enough to block his blade. Puchi! The blade pierced through his body, and the golden sun entered his body, instantly sealing the man's astral power, sealing his entire body. Jiang Changkong's figure quickly closed in and dislocated his chin. After seeing Chu Yunlong, "You can't even wait to take the poison." He pulled down his face, and it was an unfamiliar face. Jiang Changkong looked around and realized that he was the only one nearby, and could not help but ask, "The person behind you, did he send you here to die? Don't you know about the astral stone?" He was depressed. This guy did not even bring any spatial equipment. The man in black outfit looked at him in anger. With his strength, even in front of the heaven's chosen one, he could retreat. Knowing that his strength was not weak, he dared to let Han Jiangbei lure Jiang Changkong over. However, he did not even manage to block a single attack. Jiang Changkong flew back to the city and handed the man over to Yao Ming and Nan Tianping to investigate, and also asked them to help. The two of them also looked at the man in black with a strange expression. Is he that stupid? Why would he meet you alone? Even Nan Tianping did not dare to show off his brother in front of Jiang Changkong. He was afraid that Jiang Changkong would beat up his brother if he was unhappy. I'm also worried about his IQ. Jiang Chongkong looked at the man in black sympathetically. The two of them sent the photos, and soon, someone came to take the man in black away. Half an hour later, news came. Han Jiangbei, that bastard, was used. He's not with them at all. He only knows that mentioning Wang Ruiqing can make you change your mind. Yao Ming looked at the message and said, "As for the man just now, he seems to be a genius from a decade ago. He still hasn't broken through to the advanced level, and he still has the cheek to call himself a genius?" Jiang Chongkong said disdainfully. He was injured too badly and left with a hidden injury, unable to step into the advanced level. He was tempted to join a force. That force promised that as long as he did his best, they would treat him and let him step into the advanced level. Yao Ming frowned. He doesn't know what force it is exactly. The other party is very good at hiding their methods. Even if he's been working for many years, he still doesn't know the organization. What about his superiors? Jiang Chongkong frowned. Yao Ming said solemnly, "He doesn't know. Every time, it's the higher-ups looking for him. He only knows that it's an advanced-level martial artist." Advanced-level martial artist? Could the headquarters of this force be in the Void Realm? It's very possible, but don't worry, Sin Domain has been keeping a close watch these days. The other party won't make a move at this time. Jiang Chongkong nodded. He knew that Sin Domain would not be in trouble for the time being, which was why he was relieved to capture the man in black. Chapter 222. The Sin Domain was fine for the time being, and all the major forces wanted to save their people, so they kept a close eye on the Sin Domain. Whether it was now or in the future, it was almost impossible for them to interfere in the Sin Domain's affairs. Jiang Chongkong was still a little curious about this force. They actually had the cheek to call themselves a genius organization. He told Yao Ming about it and asked her to investigate the geniuses. Over the years, all kinds of geniuses who got into trouble must have been roped in by them. It might not be useful, but it was at least a clue. Leaving the matter to them, Jiang Chongkong went back to his room to sleep. On the third day, he slept until noon and ate and drank to his heart's content. Jiang Chongkong finally understood how an Tian Pang's fat body came to be. After a peaceful day, Jiang Chongkong participated in the competition again. It was still the same. None of the Budokai could take a hit from him. It was always like this. No one paid attention to his battles anymore. It was too boring. Another 4 days passed, and it was a day of rest. This time, it was not eating and drinking, but camping outside the city. Tents were set up outside the city, and a group of people surrounded a bonfire. They were all young masters and ladies. Jiang Chongkong was able to come here because of Nan Tian Pang and Yao Ming. Yao Ming sat by the bonfire and said in a low voice, "These people all have businesses in the Void Realm." Jiang Chongkong glanced around. Apart from them, there were 13 young men and women. So, they all have high-level martial artists in their families. Yes, they all have some cooperation with the All-Cade Chamber of Commerce, Yao Ming said softly. Jiang Chongkong understood. They're trying to curry favor with you? You can't say that. It's just a mutual connection. Do you have any girls you like? I'll introduce them to you, and you can work 10 years less. Yao Ming chuckled. 10 years? Jiang Chongkong shook his head. In 10 years, I'll stand at the top of this world. I don't even know if there's a big force that can save me a year of hard work. 10 years? 10 years later, if we can't surpass these great powers, then it can only be said that we have too little energy. Nan Tian Pang moved his fat body and sat down. Chongkong, you really can't move? Look, that one is beautiful. Jiang Chongkong followed his finger and saw a woman in a light yellow dress. She was beautiful, and her skin was as white as snow. Her long hair was tied up with an emerald jade hairpin. It shone brightly, setting off the beauty. He sat alone at the side, gazing at the starry sky. No one knew what he was thinking. It is indeed very beautiful, but forget it, I am not interested. Jiang Chongkong shook his head. Nan Tian Pang was stunned and said, "That's a beauty who is as famous as Shui Yu's sister. You're not interested?" After that, she looked at Jiang Chongkong's crotch in horror. "I heard that you and Ji Xiling are sisters. Haven't you ever been beaten before? We're brothers, okay? Why do you call us sisters?" Jiang Chongkong took a deep breath, pressed down on Fatty Nan, and rubbed him. Yao Ming's mouth twitched. She wanted to laugh, but was embarrassed. She looked at the woman and said, "She is from the Liangqiu family. Her name is Liangqiu Xuani. Although she is not as talented as a genius, she has reached the peak of the early stage astral spirit level. She is only 19 years old. Now that you mention it, you seem to be very weak." Jiang Changkong let go of Fatty Nan. "Our talents are only average, and the Liangqiu family is only an average force," Yao Ming said. "Our forces have no advanced cultivators. They are all mediocre. 1 or 2 are average." Jiang Changkong was a bit confused. 1 or 2 advanced martial artists were average. 7 or 8 advanced martial artists with astral form martial artists were considered second-rate forces. Surpassing the astral form martial artists and having 10 advanced martial artists were considered first-rate forces. Surpassing the advanced martial artists and having 10 advanced martial artists were considered first-rate forces. So, with enough resources, this Liangqiu Xuani might not be any weaker than a genius? Jiang Changkong pondered. Yes, but unfortunately, she is not willing to join the Federation, Yao Ming said with some regret. If she joins a big force or the Federation, she will also be treated like a genius. Join a big force? I'm afraid there are a lot of restrictions, Jiang Changkong said. Fatty Nan Tian interrupted. Joining means marrying into a powerful faction. Then why don't you hurry up and chase after her? In the future, you will have a heavenly genius as your wife. Jiang Changkong laughed. Nan Tian Peng pursed his lips. I will go after she is done looking at the stars. Jiang Changkong asked curiously. Now that you mention it, is it a habit for her to look at the stars? He looked up at the stars. There was nothing to see. He had seen it countless times in his previous life. The Liangqiu family has an advanced martial artist who participated in the space expedition. It is her grandfather. Yao Ming sighed softly. Her grandfather loves her very much. She has been waiting since she was 7 years old, but he still hasn't come back. Nan Tian Peng continued. It is difficult to return after 20 years. There is still waiting. Jiang Changkong changed the topic and asked about the Void Realm. The two stopped talking about Liangqiu Xuani and explained to him. It was not until late at night that Liangqiu Xuani stopped looking at the stars. The young men immediately ran over to strike up a conversation. Fatty Nan was among them. However, they were obviously not capable. Liangqiu Xuani's expression did not change at all. She also declined their invitations one by one. Yao Ming said again, "Are you really not going to give it a try? With your talent and strength, Liangqiu Xuani will definitely give you a chance." Jiang Changkong tore off a piece of roasted star demon meat and said with some amusement, "This is just like the natural world. A bunch of males are so hungry and thirsty that they are wagging their tails to find females." At this point, he looked at Yao Ming. Meng Jie is only slightly inferior in terms of beauty. In terms of talent, she has her family background to make up for it. But the bees around you don't. Yao Ming said calmly, "I rejected everyone." Jiang Changkong smiled and said, "One day, I will also embark on an expedition. I only care about my own goal." It was fine if he wanted to chase after a woman, but Jiang Changkong had no such thoughts. He only wanted to improve his strength and set foot in the stars. One day, he wanted to be immortal and free. If he really wanted to pursue a woman, he would go on an expedition for decades. Then, the woman would be watching the stars from below. Nan Tian Peng returned gloomily. Yao Ming chuckled. The male failed in his courtship and returned gloomily. Nan Tian Peng's expression was ugly as he bit a piece of meat. Meng Jie, don't blame me. Changkong would be useless even if he went. Jiang Changkong smiled and was about to say something when he sensed that someone was spying on him. He turned his head to look behind him. A man was hiding in the weeds, staring at him with a pair of cold eyes. "You're haunting me." Jiang Changkong put down the piece of meat and his expression turned cold. His figure instantly disappeared. Changkong. The two hurriedly got up and chased after him. The people who were having fun were also alarmed and hurriedly followed. Jiang Changkong was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he had already entered the weeds. The person who was spying on him seemed to have sensed him and quickly retreated. "Friend," Since you're already here, why don't you leave your life behind? Jiang Changkong instantly overtook the person who was spying on him and blocked his way. A man in black with a long sword in his hand looked a little panicked. Chapter 223. The man in black panicked and couldn't help taking 2 steps back. He glanced behind him and said, "I didn't mean to spy on you. I was just passing by." "A masked man in black spying on us? How could you pass by like that?" Yao Ming said coldly. Liangqiu Xuani's expression changed a little, but she quickly regained her composure. Jiang Changkong furrowed his brows. His body flashed with a golden light as he raised his right palm. "I'll take you down first before we talk about whether or not it was intentional." Jiang Changkong, the man in black, roared and backed off, slashing at Liangqiu Xuani with his sword aura. Liangqiu Xuani was shocked. She was about to dodge when the sword aura suddenly stopped and flew to the side. Jiang Changkong's palm had already arrived. The man in black was frightened, but he couldn't dodge it. He could only turn his sword around and deal with it. Boom! Crack, crack! The ear-piercing sound of bones cracking was heard. The man in black's legs were shattered, and he fell to the ground. Jiang Changkong lifted the black-clothed man and removed his mask, revealing an unfamiliar face. He didn't recognize the man and threw him at Yao Ming's feet. "Mengjia, I'll leave him to you." "Got it." Yao Ming took out her phone, took a picture, and posted the message. "Jiang Changkong, you've ruined my plans again and again. You won't be able to live for long," the man in black, roared. But before he could finish, his jaw was dislocated and the astral power was poured into his body, sealing him. Jiang Changkong had put in a lot of effort to prevent the man from committing suicide. Soon, someone came and took the man in black away. The group returned to the bonfire and continued to have fun. What happened just now didn't affect them at all. These people had encountered this kind of thing a few times, if not 10 times. When they were about to enjoy the roasted meat, Liangqiu Xuani came over and sat down next to Yao Ming. "Thank you for making my sword deviate just now." A soft and gentle voice sounded, and a smile appeared on her calm face. Jiang Changkong said, "That sword aura was only to force you back. It didn't threaten your life. You don't need to thank me." Back then, he had used the Imperial Spirit Art to change the direction of the sword rays. Liangqiu Xuani was still able to sense it. Yao Ming glanced at her and asked in confusion, "Among us, other than Changkong, Xuani is the strongest. Why would that person choose you as the breakthrough point?" Nan Tianping came back to his senses and had a strange look on his face. "That's true. If it was any of us, he could have killed us easily. Why did he choose Xuani?" Liangqiu Xuani smiled. Her voice was still as soft as before. Perhaps it's because Changkong scared her so much that she panicked and lost her mind. "I still have matters to attend to. Farewell." After saying those words, Liangqiu Xuani stood up and returned to her seat. "There's something wrong with her." Nan Tianping frowned. Yao Ming nodded and sent a message, changing the topic. "Let's rest after dinner." After eating, the night passed. The next day, everyone went their separate ways and promised to come again next time. Jiang Changkong and Yao Ming returned to 10,000 Mile City together. Yao Ming said in a low voice, "What happened last night really wasn't targeted at Changkong. It was targeted at Liangqiu Xuani." Jiang Changkong was slightly startled. Yao Ming said, "Yes, but that was all. Someone told him to keep an eye on Liangqiu Xuani. To his surprise, you were there too. He took a look at you." Jiang Changkong, "I'm really sorry. He only took a look at me. However, we are all in the same group. Even if he doesn't target me, his people will." Jiang Changkong said calmly. The two nodded. Yao Ming continued, "People from Shengjin have been getting close to some people from Budokai recently. It's very likely that Tian Wang is really using them to deal with you. A bunch of losers. I hope they make a move soon." Jiang Changkong said calmly. Then Tianping said, "I think they won't bring starstones with them if they make a move. Your reputation is ruined." Jiang Changkong, "Why do I always have the urge to beat you up? Without starstones, fighting would be meaningless." The three of them entered the 10,000 Mile City. This time, they would take him to have fun and get to know some rich young masters and ladies. The competition in Budokai continued. It had been 10 days. The top 30 of the ordinary provinces were finally going to be decided. Jiang Changkong defeated another Budokai and waited in the stands. By nightfall, 30 Budokai were finally chosen. Nan Yin took them to the competition venue of the major provinces. There was a ceasefire here. 30 Budokai were also chosen. The 30 teams from the 11 offshore islands had also arrived. All of them looked excited. There were only 90 teams left. 45 could be eliminated at once. After that, one team would be given a random bye. This time, it was Inshana's turn to start the competition. The device projected that Jiang Changkong's opponent this time was Haidafu. Haidafu also arrived with 8 peak astral spirits with a serious expression. "Please," Jiang Changkong said politely. Haidafu's expression darkened. "Chang Kai-sheng, I really don't want to fight you." Jiang Changkong said indifferently. "I don't want to either, but it's not up to me. Let's start." "Do it," Haidafu shouted. The 8 peak astral spirits burst out with azure starlight at the same time. The azure sword in Haidafu's hand released misty water vapor and drew the 8's astral power. "You're finally a little interested in the competition." Jiang Changkong's eyes lit up. The astral power of the 8 gathered and was drawn by Haidafu. The 9 of them worked together, and their power almost increased exponentially. This strength was extremely strong among peak astral spirits, second only to the heaven-chosen level. "Sky Sea Line," Haidafu shouted in a deep voice. Together with his own strength, the power of the 9 of them combined together. The sword light was earth-shattering, shocking countless spectators. Even the soldiers who were maintaining order were surprised. This sword attack had attracted many people's attention. "Not bad." With a sigh of admiration, Jiang Changkong slowly spread his hands behind his back, and a blazing sun gathered. Buzz! The golden sun shone through the night, and the dazzling light made the area within a kilometer as bright as day. A monstrous heat wave swept out, and a pair of azure sword lights appeared. Sizzle! The astral power turned into white smoke and evaporated. "How is this possible?" Haidafu's expression changed at the same time. He gritted his teeth, and the astral power of the 9 instantly doubled. The azure light shone brightly, and Jiang Changkong finally looked at the 9 of them. This sword attack was comparable to a peak astral spirit's attack. Suddenly, he let the azure light engulf the blazing sun. Poof! The sharp sword pierced through the flesh, and the azure sword light penetrated their bodies. Haidafu and the others were overjoyed, but a blade light flashed and slashed the 6 of them. The 9 of them shook violently, and blood flowed from the corners of their mouths. Their bodies flew out and fell heavily to the ground. The astral power of the sun rushed into their bodies and messed up their astral power. Jiang Changkong looked at the wound on his body and grabbed the hilt of the sword. He pulled hard and golden blood spurted out. The wound healed quickly and was as good as new in the blink of an eye. "Underestimated you. You can hurt me," Jiang Changkong said lightly. Haidafu and the others opened their mouths and spat out a mouthful of hot blood. Jiang Changkong had won this battle. Jiang Changkong flew back and came to Yao Meng's side. The 2 of them gave him a strange look. "You can't wait and want to lure them out?" Jiang Changkong was a guy who could kill Yin Bugue. How could he be hurt by that sort of attack? He must have done it on purpose. The 2 of them knew it. Jiang Changkong said, "How can we make a move if we don't give them a chance? I hope they will take the initiative next." Yao Meng said, "You'll have to wait until the day you rest. You'll be able to recover quickly with the help of healing medicine. I will continue to be injured. Help me keep an eye on those who do it. See which Budokai guy takes all their astral stones." Jiang Changkong thought for a moment and said, "Those who don't bring astral stones will be split 20 to 80. Those who bring will be split 30 to 70. Yao Ming narrowed her eyes. "You're not doing a good job. 50 to 50. Although you can't harm the president and have an excuse, Budokai can also be excluded. It will take a lot of manpower for us to make a move. That's 30 to 70. 50 to 50. That's boring. I'm risking my life." Chapter 224. In the end, it was a 40-60 split. Jiang Changkong didn't want to do business with Yao Meng in the future. He had to find a professional in the future. These people from the big forces were people who could clearly distinguish between feelings and business. They could give you some things for free and do things for you for free. But when it came to business, they were ruthless and didn't care about friendship at all. In the next battle, Jiang Changkong was injured again, and his injury worsened. The medicine given by Nan Tianping and the others could only temporarily suppress it. This way, Jiang Changkong felt that more people were spying on him, as if to confirm if he was really injured. Jiang Changkong also went from defeating his opponent with one move to defeating his opponent after a few hours. At the end of the 4 days, there were 12 teams left. They rested for a day and then decided on the next 10 places. That night, Jiang Changkong and the other two returned to the city and checked into a hotel. Should we go to the hospital and disguise ourselves? Nan Tianping asked. No. If they want to go to the Sin Realm, tonight is their last chance. Besides, even if it's not for the Sin Realm, we will go to the Sin Realm after the 10 places are chosen. Jiang Changkong said lightly. Tonight should be their only chance. If they missed this chance, they didn't know when they would have to wait. Then why are you pretending to be injured? Do you have nothing better to do? Fatty Nin rolled his eyes. The injury is just to stimulate them and make them want to fight. Jiang Changkong said calmly. Didn't we agree to continue camping tonight? Let's go. Yao Meng said. We still have to prepare. Take Aunt Lu with you. You are confident, but we also have to be careful. Nan Tianping nodded. The other party must be prepared. Bringing a peak star spirit would not be a burden. After calling the bodyguards, the 3 of them went to the campsite. This time, the campsite was a little far from the previous location. Jiang Changkong's face was pale, and he looked weak. Lu Min and a middle-aged man followed beside Yao Meng, escorting them. When the group arrived at the campsite, Liangqiu Xuani and the others were already there. There were also a few other groups camping nearby. Seeing the 5 of them, a young man smiled and said, You guys are too careful. You even brought bodyguards this time. It's different this time. Changkong is seriously injured, Yao Meng explained. The youth said, Brother Changkong, I've seen all your matches. You were just too careless. That's right. Those who are able to participate in the Sin Domain competition are all powerful martial artists and geniuses. Brother Changkong, you weren't too strong in the beginning, but you didn't understand Hai Dafu in detail beforehand. A few of them took out healing medicines and said, Fortunately, your life is not in danger. Take these healing medicines and use them. Thank you for your kindness. I have already taken the healing medicine. Jiang Changkong thanked them one by one. Yao Meng said, Changkong's condition has stabilized. Let's do what we have to do. Only then did the group of people get busy. Some lit a fire, some processed the ingredients, and some set up tents. Liangqiu Xuani continued to look at the starry sky, ignoring everyone and sitting there quietly. Nan Tianping and Yao Meng were in charge of barbecuing, while Jiang Changkong, who was sick, was in charge of eating. The group of people chatted and laughed. Time passed quickly, and an alluring aroma wafted in the air, whetting everyone's appetite. Let me tell you, I have learned barbecuing professionally. Nan Tianping began to brag. But the barbecued meat this time was indeed fragrant. Liangqiu Xuani took a piece of barbecued meat from a plate and sat next to Jiang Changkong. It smells too good. There's a problem. Jiang Changkong glanced at her and ate a piece of barbecued meat. Sure enough, there was a trace of strange energy that was eroding his star power. If one did not observe carefully, they would not be able to detect this strange energy. But it was just a bite. It was not a big threat, and they didn't even have to use the antidote. Nan Tianping had already said that he used poison. They had prepared antidotes. The universal antidote pill could only cure those below the advanced level. Liangqiu Xuani glanced at him without any change in her expression. She got up and left. The others ate the barbecued meat and chatted happily. Jiang Changkong ate while clearing the toxins in his body. There's something wrong with the meat. A young man threw away the meat in his hand, took a bottle of antidote, and sat down with his legs crossed. There's poison. Who's in charge of the ingredients today? Nan Tianping's expression changed, and he yelled. I did, but I was poisoned too. I didn't know there was a problem. A young man took out the antidote and swallowed it with a pale face. He was in charge of the ingredients. Yao Ming and Fatty Nin were from top forces. If something happened to them, he would be in big trouble. Jiang Changkong sat down with his legs crossed. His pale face was flushed and blood was dripping from the corner of his mouth. Everyone except Liang Xiaoshuani had been poisoned. Why are you fine? Nan Tianpeng looked at Liang Xiaoshuani. Liang Xiaoshuani slowly stood up without saying a word. Liang Xiaoshuani, I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. I didn't poison you. Liang Xiaoshuani said calmly without the slightest panic. Bullshit, if you didn't do it. Why didn't you eat it? Thump. The dull sound of footsteps could be heard as several groups of camping teams rushed over from all directions. However, it was not to rescue them, but to kill them. Of course she didn't poison you. She wouldn't dare to say it. A cold voice was heard, and figures came out of the darkness. One of them stared at Jiang Changkong and said, Chang Kai-sheng, we meet again. Hi Dafu, I'm surprised that you showed up. Jiang Changkong looked at the person who had spoken, Hai Dafu, who had been defeated by him. Hai Dafu's expression was cold. Behind him were 8 peak astral spirits. Chang Kai-sheng is powerful. This time, we want to fight again. What about you? Jiang Changkong looked at the others. These people, including Hai Dafu and the other 8, totaled nearly 30 peak astral spirits. Many peak astral spirits looked indifferent. We came for you and a fight again. There should be more people behind you. Call them out together. Jiang Changkong stood up, his expression indifferent. Chang Kai-sheng is indeed bold. Knowing that there is danger, he still dares to go out of the city. A cold voice was heard. In the darkness, 5 men in black appeared at the same time. Such a lineup to send off Chang Kai-sheng. You didn't come to this world in vain. Who are you? How dare you attack us? Don't you know who we are? A young man's expression changed. This lineup was too luxurious. How dare you attack here? Aren't you afraid that the high-level warriors of Wanli City will come out to kill you? The man in black's eyes were cold. The surroundings have been cleaned up. There is no one within 100 miles. If you want to blame someone, blame Jiang Changkong. We pay attention to courtesy before force. Before, we invited Chang Kai-sheng, but he refused and left our people behind. Jiang Changkong sneered. Peaceful measures before resorting to force? You can't beat him, so you talk about courtesy? Besides, you call that courtesy? I'll give you another chance. Call all the people you can to save trouble in the future. Arrogant. Today, even if you're not poisoned or injured, you will die without a doubt. The 5 men in black shouted. A few golden stones appeared in their hands. They fell in all directions, bursting with the golden light of the sun. Sun star array. Jiang Changkong looked at Fatty Nan with a complicated expression. Is this your disciple? Chapter 225. Just as Fatty Nan had said, they had poisoned him and encouraged the people of Budokai to attack the sun star array again. Dazzling golden light lit up the night sky. The pure power of the sun formed the star array. The power of the sun inside, Jiang Changkong's body rose, and he felt suppressed. Nan Tianwang was in an even worse situation. He couldn't even release the power of the sun inside his body. His bodyguard was a bit better than him, but his strength was also greatly reduced. He could only use the power of a late-stage astral spirit. That wasn't enough to suppress the others. But the terrifying temperature of the sun-star array was enough to kill ordinary astral cultivators. Even though the people present could be considered geniuses, they were all covered in sweat after being poisoned. Liang Xiaoshuani was no longer calm. The blue star power even emitted a light mist, which was restrained by the sun-star array. Liang Xiaoshuani, I'll give you one last chance. Join us. A man in black looked at Liang Xiaoshuani. His body exuded a sharp star power and dazzling golden light, but he wasn't afraid of the sun-star array. Liang Xiaoshuani's face turned cold. Impossible. You don't know what's good for you. Kill him. Hai Dafu and the other 8 people rushed forward first. The other warriors of Budokai also attacked. Those people all had golden light shining on them, which resonated with the sun-star array. Jiang Changkong, go to hell. Hai Dafu grinned, and the 9 people worked together again. Let's see how you're going to resist this time. Jiang Changkong's pale face returned to normal. He He raised his hand, and a sixth-grade blade appeared in his hand. The sunset covered the golden light of the sun. The blade aura engulfed everyone. How is this possible? The faces of the martial artists who were rushing over changed greatly, and they looked horrified. Haidafu and the other 8 people were the first to be hit. The blade aura cut their throats. Hot blood splashed, and the blue star power evaporated. The blade was as fast as a phantom. Wherever it passed, there was no chance of survival. How strong are you? The 5 men in black turned pale at the same time. Their eyes were full of fear. Have you ever figured out what I'm capable of? Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. He raised his left hand, and an invisible star power spread. The Yuling art. Rumble. The blazing sunstones in the surroundings all flew out. The sunstar formation was instantly shattered. The suppression dissipated, and a vast energy surged out, spreading towards the many martial artists. Pucci. Just the impact of the star power was enough to send many martial artists flying while vomiting blood. Witnessing my strength is your honor. Jiang Chongkong released his right hand, and the long saber slashed through the void, releasing thousands of saber lights. The saber light drowned everything, enveloping all the martial artists, including the 5 black-robed men. The 5 black-clothed men were not weak. They were all geniuses, second only to geniuses of the heavens' chosen level. They each displayed their abilities and shattered the saber radiance. Go! The 5 of them made a prompt decision to abandon the Budokai members and were about to leave. You think you can leave? Jiang Chongkong sneered. He stood still, and the blazing sun astral energy in his body changed instantly. An invisible astral energy spread out. Get back here! With a ferocious shout, the 5 and the remaining cultivators froze at the same time. Their bodies flew uncontrollably towards Jiang Chongkong. Thump! The remaining peak stage astral spirits, including the black-clothed men, all knelt in front of Jiang Chongkong. The 5 of them had just opened their mouths when an invisible astral energy controlled their voices and stopped them. Jiang Chongkong put away his saber and said indifferently, "You're right. I'm not poisoned or injured. How much of my strength can this low-level sun star array suppress me? Also, I know more than the blazing sun art. What can you do if I change to another art? This is the antidote. Take it." Nan Tianping took out the antidote and gave it to the others. Liangqiu Xuani's expression changed. "You all knew?" Nan Tianping said disdainfully. "We've already guessed it." Lu Min picked up the blazing sunstone and gave it to Nan Tianping. Nan Tianping frowned. "It really is from the Nan family. In the entire Nan family, only my brother, who has cultivated part of the astral form, is unaffected." Hearing that, Yao Ming also looked at Jiang Chongkong in surprise. "You've cultivated part of the astral form too? That shouldn't be the case. It was a secret of the top forces. Even the top forces might not have it." "My strength has surpassed your brother's," Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. His blazing sun art was definitely not as good as a heavenly talent, but he could transform 7 martial arts into one element at the same time. He could totally crush Fatty Nan's brother, but he didn't know how terrifying an advanced martial artist was, and whether he could fight against an early-stage star embryo cultivator. Soon, someone came and took all the black-clothed men away. Jiang Chongkong had already searched their bodies, but he didn't find any star stones on them. However, some of the presidents of the Martial Arts Association had star stones on them. He didn't want to share the astral stones with Yao Ming. He had to find a way to dig them out from the Budokai people. Because of this matter, there was no point in camping anymore. Liangqiu Xuani came to Jiang Chongkong's side and said in a soft voice, "I wonder if I can have the honor to invite Chiang Kai-sheng for a chat tomorrow." Jiang Chongkong said politely, "It's my honor to be invited by Miss Xuani. Then, I will welcome Chiang Kai-sheng tomorrow." Liangqiu Xuani bowed slightly and turned to leave. "Your chance is here." Fatty Nan winked and said. Yao Ming smiled and said, "Seize this opportunity." Jiang Chongkong said indifferently, "Don't forget about the astral stones. Go back to sleep and find out if any of these people have astral stones." After saying that, he left first. Yao Ming and Nan Tianping chuckled and returned to 10,000-mile city. The next day, at 7 in the morning, Jiang Changkong was woken up by Nan Tianping. This guy was even more enthusiastic about Liangxiu Xuani's invitation than him. Yao Ming did not follow. She still had to deal with the matters in Budokai and get the astral stones. With Fatty Nan leading the way, the two came to an antique house. There was a lake, a bridge, and a pavilion in the house. The surroundings were filled with flower pots, and the flowers were in full bloom. Liangxiu Xuani was in the pavilion making tea. In this world full of equipment, there is still such a retro building. Miss Xuani is really in a good mood. Jiang Changkong walked into the pavilion with Fatty Nan and was slightly surprised. Chang Kai-sheng, don't call me Xuani. It's too distant. Why don't you call me Xuani and I call you Changkong? Liangxiu Xuani pursed her lips and smiled without showing her teeth. She handed 2 cups of tea over. Please have some tea. Fatty Nan took a sip of the tea with an intoxicated expression. It's mellow and thick. The fragrance lingers in the mouth, and the aftertaste lasts for a long time. Good tea, good tea. Jiang Changkong glanced at him and took a sip. He did not feel that it was very fragrant. I'm a boorish man. I won't flatter you. This Fatty Nan was really good at pretending. Liangxiu Xuani smiled. This is not good tea in the first place. It's just ordinary tea leaves. Fatty Nan's expression froze. His face was as ugly as a pig's liver. Tell me why you are looking for me, Jiang Changkong said calmly. He did not believe that Liangxiu Xuani, who was surrounded by a swarm of bees, would invite him for no reason. Liangxiu Xuani's smile faded. There was a hint of seriousness in her voice. I invited Changkong this time because of that organization. Changkong has fought with them many times. Do you have any experience to pass on? Jiang Changkong frowned. What is your relationship with them? Liangxiu Xuani sighed softly. She came to a flower pot and looked at a blooming flower. She gently broke it. This is my relationship. Chapter 226. Ordinary flowers would be appreciated by people. But if they were too beautiful, some people would want to keep them for themselves. If this flower did not have a strong ability to protect itself, it could be easily destroyed by others. The Liangxiu clan was not weak, but it was not strong in a large province either. It could only be considered a second-rate force. There were 8 high-ranking martial artists and an astral body martial artist. My grandfather is a peak astral body martial artist. In order to experience the starry sky and seek a breakthrough, he embarked on an expedition and has yet to return. Liangxiu Xuani calmly explained, over the past decade, although there have been astral body martial artists in the Liangxiu clan, the strongest is only at the mid-stage astral body. Jiang Changkong listened quietly. Due to the Liangxiu clan's old man leaving for the starry sky, the clan's power weakened. Their authority in the void realm also weakened, and the resources they could obtain also decreased. Those who originally did not dare to target the Liangxiu clan also began to do so. Some time ago, that organization found Liangxiu Xuani. Their goal was to exchange her flower for 10 years of stability for the Liangxiu clan. Liangxiu Xuani put down the flower and said calmly, without a backer, this flower has become a plaything. You don't seem worried, Jiang Changkong said softly. Liangxiu Xuani was too calm. There was no panic on her face. The corners of Liangxiu Xuani's mouth twitched. I'm used to it. My grandfather taught me to hide my emotions. Jiang Changkong smiled and said, You did well. I don't know as much as you do. I only know that it was formed by a group of people who call themselves geniuses. I only killed some people and ruined some things. If Xuani wants to find a backer, Fatty Nantian is one of them. Nantian Peng quickly patted his chest and guaranteed, Xuani, if you have any difficulties, just tell me. Liangxiu Xuani sighed. Young master Nin can't protect me, and I don't want to cause trouble for you. This time, I didn't find Changkong to find a backer, but a partner. Partner? Jiang Changkong was puzzled. How? Liangxiu Xuani went silent for a moment before she took out a piece of paper and passed it to Jiang Changkong. Jiang Changkong took the paper and looked at it. His face changed. The Sin Domain Tunnel. How do you know about it? The information is definitely accurate. Xuani knows more than all of you. Liangxiu Xuani said softly. That organization is called the Immortal Palace. It was established by absorbing many unsuccessful geniuses. They can borrow the strength of the major forces to hide themselves. So, how can the major forces find them? Nan Tianpeng's expression changed. Immortal Palace? This force appeared many years ago. I'm afraid there must be a top-notch martial artist overseeing it, right? Yes. A trace of seriousness appeared on Liang Xiaoshuani's calm face. The people that Chang Kong killed were only peripheral members of the Immortal Palace. In fact, they could not even be considered peripheral members. They were merely being used by the Immortal Palace. Nan Tianpeng frowned. Just as he was about to say something, Liang Xiaoshuani continued, Qin Xianqing could have joined, and so could your fifth uncle. Unfortunately, he died in the Tranquil province. Only those with decent status can be considered as members. They will fulfill the wishes of the members and make those unimportant geniuses risk their lives for them. Risk their lives? Are those people willing to be used? Jiang Changkong frowned. So what if they're unwilling? Most of the people chosen by the Immortal Palace are injured and have hidden dangers. They have something they need, unless they're willing to be crippled for the rest of their lives. Liang Xiaoshuani's expression returned to normal. The condition they gave you is 10 years of stability for the Liangxiu family? Jiang Changkong asked. Not only that, but they will also nurture a peak astral body realm expert in the Liangxiu family. I will have to sacrifice myself and be their slave forever. Liang Xiaoshuani's expression did not change, even when she mentioned being their slave. That's too much. With your talent, it won't be difficult for you to reach the peak astral body realm in the future. Nan Tianpeng said angrily. Liang Xiaoshuani's talent was very strong. She was definitely not weaker than geniuses. With her talent, it would not be difficult for her to reach the peak astral body realm in the future. She might even become a top martial artist. It was a completely unprofitable deal. Liang Xiaoshuani would never agree to it unless she was in a desperate situation. Jiang Changkong said indifferently, What do you want me to do by cooperating with you? Attract their attention so that they won't be able to deal with me, Liang Xiaoshuani said. It sounds like I'm at a disadvantage, Jiang Changkong said. The Liangxiu family will secretly help you grow and gain a foothold in the Void Realm. They will cooperate with you and other matters, including a rank 7 mecha. Liang Xiaoshuani made a promise. Even if you don't cooperate with them, you've already attracted their attention. Once I enter the Void Realm, the enemies I'll have to face will be high-level martial artists or even top martial artists. Jiang Changkong's expression changed slightly. Nan Tianpeng waved his hand and said, Top martial artists are out of the question. The number of top martial artists in the entire Federation is limited. They won't have the time to deal with you. I can't deal with high-level martial artists either. Jiang Changkong shook his head. If we can find out about the Immortal Palace, the Nan family, the Alcade Chamber of Commerce, and the Feng family will definitely stand on your side. The Federation will too. Nan Tianpeng pondered and said, At least ensure the safety of your friends. Just like this time at the Sinful Passage, we'll move together. With my strength alone, I'm afraid it'll be a little difficult to attract the Immortal Palace's attention. Jiang Changkong said indifferently. It was not that he was underestimating himself. Without reaching the advanced level, even if he reached the Star Embryo realm, he was just an ant in the eyes of those big forces. Liang Xiaoshuani said calmly, The Sinful Passage is the first step. When you come out and step into the Void Realm, that will be the second step. Jiang Changkong smiled faintly and said, Cooperation is fine, but give me some practical support, such as star stones, star crystals, and so on. Miser, Nan Tianpeng muttered. Just as Yao Ming and Jian Shuiyue said, Jiang Changkong only had his eyes on star stones, and now there were star crystals. Liang Xiaoshuani was stunned and said with some amusement, If you step into the advanced level and complete the second step, I'll give you information about a small star crystal mine. A small one. Jiang Changkong was a little unwilling. A small one can also dig out tens of thousands or even more star crystals. Nan Tianpeng rolled his eyes and said, All right, as long as it's really about the Immortal Palace and not to trick me into doing something else, I'll definitely complete the second step if I have the ability. Jiang Changkong said. He had already gone against the immortal palace anyway. Whether it was intentional or not, it had already attracted attention. Since they wanted him dead, they would not stop until he was dead. It was a pleasant surprise to have Liangxiu Xuani as a reward. Next, it was to discuss the specific action. Jiang Changkong was not clear about the sinful passage, but Liangxiu Xuani was not completely clear about it either. They could only confirm that it was at the bottom of the island, and it was also accidentally discovered by the immortal palace, which was why they could bring people out. Of course, it was also very difficult to bring people out. At the very least, it needed a peak astral body martial artist to suppress the void passage and bring people out. Jiang Changkong wanted to do it alone, but it was impossible. This matter still required the help of the three major forces. Not to mention a peak astral body, they could even send someone beyond the astral body. Nan Tianping was not interested in this matter, and the Nan family naturally would not be interested either. They still wanted to save people from the sinful realm. After understanding the details, Nan Tianping left. Liangxiu Xuani left Jiang Changkong behind and said in a low voice, "Don't tell young Master Nan and the others everything. I understand. All the major forces are not safe. But aren't you worried that Nan Tianwang will tell you about the cooperation?" Jiang Changkong asked. He is not stupid. Moreover, he is not clear about the second step. Liangxiu Xuani said calmly, "In the future, we can be considered as life and death partners." Cooperation is cooperation. Life and death is not necessary. Jiang Changkong chuckled and got up to leave. Chapter 2:27. In the pavilion, Liangxiu Xuani sent Jiang Changkong off and looked at the clear lake. The lake water rippled, and a woman's face appeared, looking at her indifferently. "Master, we've already reached an agreement with Jiang Changkong. But will he really give us a star crystal vein for completing the second step?" Liangxiu Xuani's expression was still calm, but there was a hint of reluctance in her tone. A star crystal vein, even a small one, was enough for high-level martial artists to kill each other. A small star crystal vein could allow a star embryo martial artist to break through the peak and enter the star body realm. A smile appeared on the face. This star crystal vein is not easy to take. He's only paying to deal with his enemy. We have the same enemy, so we can cooperate. I've already asked them to contact the prodigies of the major forces. They will also cooperate. Liangxiu Xuani said calmly, "I've already sent the news to the Nan family through Nan Tianwang. I believe the Feng family and the Alcade Chamber of Commerce will also receive the news. Master, are you planning to use the major forces to fight against the Immortal Palace?" At that time, whether the star crystal vein would belong to Jiang Changkong or not would depend on whether he had the ability to obtain it. The Immortal Palace has been able to survive for so many years because they've kept it a secret. But there are no absolute secrets in this world. The Federation's cake is only so big. If we want a bigger share, we can only snatch food from the tiger's mouth. A smile appeared on the face. You also have to pay attention to yourself and maintain your weak image so as not to arouse suspicion. Liangxiu Xuani said calmly, "I will. I won't participate in the Sin realm this time. Try to avoid those high-level martial artists." "Very well. This time, with the major forces in the Sin realm taking action, I can leave with a peace of mind and head to the Void realm." After saying that, the face disappeared and the lake became calm again. On the other hand, Jiang Changkong returned to the hotel and was thinking about Liangxiu Xuani. Yao Ming's phone was filled with Liangxiu Xuani's information. Is she really expressionless? Jiang Changkong mumbled. He felt that Liangxiu Xuani was too calm. How could a second-rate force not panic when facing the Immortal Palace? However, according to the records, Liangxiu Xuani had been introverted ever since her grandfather went on the expedition. She rarely smiled. Over time, he became expressionless. No matter who he faced, he was very calm. Only under special circumstances would he squeeze out a smile and barely show some expression. Yao Ming teased, "What's the matter? Can't you get over it already? Why don't I be the matchmaker and invite her over? Aren't you curious as to how she knew about this spatial tunnel? Furthermore, how does Liangxiu Xuani know so much about the ethereal Immortal Palace?" Placing his phone down, Jiang Changkong faintly said, I have a feeling that there's an issue, but I have no idea what the issue is because I know too little. I've already sent people to investigate, but it should be very difficult to find any useful information. Yao Ming's expression turned serious. What you need to do now is to get a spot in the Sin realm. Jiang Changkong pondered for a moment and then slapped his thigh. Look at my poor memory. What we need to do is obviously to divide the starstones first. Yao Ming, you miser, you really can't forget about this. She tossed a ring to him. It's all here. Lower grade 6th grade, 20,000, middle grade 15,000, upper grade 8,000, no top grade. 5th grade 80,000. I didn't count the ones below 5th grade, so I threw them all to you. Thank you. Jiang Changkong accepted the starstones. This was a good harvest. 80,000 for 5th grade. Most of them were lower grade, and the least were top grade. But all in all, there was still more than 1,300,000. 6th grade, 7,400,000. Together with the 3 million he had left, it was close to 12 million. These Budokai people were really rich. It was enough for him to max out 2 martial arts. I'm going out for a while, Jiang Changkong said. Yao Ming got up and left. Don't forget about tomorrow's competition. Jiang Changkong left the 10,000-mile city and flew into the air. He only leveled up his martial arts when he arrived at a deserted place. Indestructible Vajra, Tai Chi mysterious art, and blazing sun skill were left aside for now. It would not be too late to level them up after entering the Sin realm. Jiang Changkong, Star Spirit Peak Middle Grade Martial Arts, Diamond Indestructible Divine Art, Perfect 5625000/5625000 Tai Chi Mysterious Art, Perfect 5625000/5625000 3 Strikes of Grace, Perfect 1/5625000 Burning Sun Art, Perfect 1/5625000 Yuling Art, Perfect 1/5625000 Cold Moon Art, Perfect 1/5625000 9 Skies and 9 Clouds Art, Perfect 56250/5625000 Essence, Energy and Spirit, 711557 The Diamond Indestructible Divine Art, Tai Chi Mysterious Art, and the 2 Stargate also materialized. The 6th force pattern became thicker, and the astral power in his body increased again. This is... Suddenly, Jiang Changkong furrowed his brows, and golden runes appeared on his golden skin. He counted them carefully. 6 lines. 6 force patterns. The force patterns ran through his body and melted into his flesh and blood. At this moment, the diamond Indestructible Divine Art was clearly visible. The force patterns appeared on their own. There's no explanation for leveling up my martial arts. Could it be that I have to enter the advanced rank and enter the star embryo stage to see the specific changes? Jiang Changkong clenched his fists and felt the terrifying power in his body. As he clenched his fists, the force patterns also vibrated. Let's not think about it. Now that my martial arts have improved again, I wonder how far away I am from a star embryo martial artist? Jiang Changkong stopped thinking and began to ponder about his strength and the advanced ranks. The 3 advanced ranks were Star Embryo, Astral Body, and Astral Body. A Star Embryo martial artist's blood chi and astral power combined to form a Star Embryo. At this level, the astral power would merge with the body, and every inch of the cells would be filled with astral power. Each and every one of his movements contained terrifying might. As long as the astral power wasn't suppressed by the enemy's power, an advanced rank martial artist could recover from normal injuries in an instant. His current recovery ability wasn't much weaker than a Star Embryo martial artist's. An astral body martial artist's Star Embryo would merge with the body and form a special body constitution. Martial artists at this level would be able to suppress and resist martial artists of the same element. It could be said that a blazing sun astral body martial artist might not be able to kill an ordinary peak astral spirit martial artist. Moreover, this kind of martial artist was truly terrifying. They could condense pure astral essence in their body and regrow broken limbs. As long as the astral essence was not extinguished, almost all injuries could be healed. Astral body martial artists could nurture their own astral body. This kind of martial artist was extremely terrifying. According to the introduction, the explosive power of an astral body martial artist was comparable to a real astral body. They could cross the starry sky and stand shoulder to shoulder with the astral bodies. Astral body martial artists already had the ability to destroy heaven and earth. This was also the reason why high-level martial artists couldn't fight at will on Earth. If they could fight at will, it was estimated that Earth would be destroyed. It doesn't matter what Liangqiu Xuani is planning or the Immortal Palace's means. In this world, one's fist is still the law. As long as I can get enough star stones and star crystals, I'll be able to obtain them. Jiang Changkong stabilized the power in his body, stood up, and returned to the 10,000-mile city. When he returned to the hotel, Nan Tianping had gone back and hadn't come back yet. Yao Ming had already gone to rest, and Jiang Changkong had nothing to do. So he played with his phone in the room and asked his seniors about the city's construction. The city was progressing well, and the major forces were also very obedient, all contributing funds to help. Jiang Hai's fellow countrymen could only sit back and enjoy the fruits of their labor. With Su Xinghe taking the lead, the major forces of the Tranquil province were very obedient. Even if they had high-level martial artists, they couldn't control them in the Void Realm, unless they sent a group of peak astral spirits back, but they weren't high-level martial artists and wouldn't be enough for Jiang Changkong to kill. Besides, in Shanhe and in Yuanshan were also considered friends. As long as Jiang Changkong didn't kill them all, they wouldn't be completely at odds with each other. Chapter 228. As for the city, the three families would take care of it when he went to the Void Realm. After all, the three families had properties in Abyss City and shares in the mine. Making a move on Abyss City would affect the interests of the three families. After thinking about these things, Jiang Changkong relaxed and began to rest to prepare for tomorrow's battle. There were 12 teams left, and that should be enough to select 10 people. Early the next morning, Jiang Changkong left Wanli City. Yao Ming and Nan Tianwang were still watching the battle. Jiang Changkong knew that they were collecting information, including his, to pass on to their own prodigies. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. The major forces were not stupid. Not only the major forces would produce prodigies. Some unorthodox prodigies were also very scary. Like Jiang Changkong. The battle began again, and Jiang Changkong faced a 9-man team. The 9 of them were quite strong, and together, they were enough to threaten a prodigy. However, they were still too far away from Jiang Changkong. Moreover, he had improved again, so he still did not make a move. Fatty Nan and Yao Ming did not look good after easily defeating their opponents. Jiang Changkong was too strong. As friends, they were happy. However, when they thought about the trip to Sin Realm, they could not be happy about it. Jiang Changkong patted him. Fatty Tian, I think you can deal with me once. Otherwise, you won't have another chance. Hee. Nan Tianping's mouth twitched as he rolled his eyes. I'm serious. I will never kill you. How about it? As long as your people bring star stones, Jiang Changkong said seriously. Nan Tianping was speechless. Did you not see that I've lost weight since I met you? Do you think I'm stupid? Who can beat you if they don't come out? Bring star stones and let you snatch them? The 11 islands have indeed produced capable people. Yao Ming looked at the instrument with a hint of solemnity. Han Jiangbei has won this time. Fatty Nan's expression was solemn. If I remember correctly, this person is called Sha Jingma. His wind and sand are very powerful. He's not bad. He's slightly weaker than a prodigy. With his 8 men, ordinary prodigies might really be defeated. Jiang Changkong narrowed his eyes. Sha Jingma had even drank with him. His 8 men are all from the island, and they are his sworn brothers. Yao Ming pondered. I'm afraid we can't get a spot from him. Then wouldn't Han Jiangbei's bet be in vain? Jiang Changkong asked. Fatty Nantian shook his head and said, with such strength, if nothing goes wrong, he will also be an expert in the Void Realm in the future. He's a worthy partner. How can it be for him? Jiang Changkong nodded and looked at the other competition videos. Sha Jingma's team should be the strongest. They will get a spot. The two of them nodded. Among these teams, only Jiang Changkong could suppress Sha Jingma's team. Sure enough, it only took a few hours for Sha Jingma to defeat his opponent. The other teams, on the other hand, could not win in a short period of time. It would probably take a few days. Yao Ming took out her phone. I'll send you the map of Xin Domain. Take a look. The Federation will install a map on your phone when the time comes. It'll be convenient for you to locate them. When the time comes, the Federation will install a map on your phone so that it will be easier to locate you. You can learn about it now. On the map, a city of Xin was marked. There was only one road, and the rest were dense forests and reefs on the island. On the map, there was a city of Xin marked out. There was only one road, and the rest were forests and reefs on the island. Of course, the Federation did not know that it was only discovered by the Immortal Palace. Of course, the Federation did not know that it was only discovered by the Immortal Palace. Time passed quickly as they looked at the map and chatted. Time flew, and it was not until noon the next day that the first battle ended. This time, half of the teams were not directly eliminated. There was a rematch. Out of the 12 teams, only 2 would be eliminated. Jiang Changkong went up again. This time, he faced an unfamiliar team. The result was the same. Jiang Changkong looked at the time and frowned. From the looks of it, I'm afraid they won't be chosen this time. I thought it would end this time. I hope they can hurry up, Nan Tianpeng said. All the major forces are getting impatient. Jiang Changkong knew what he meant. He couldn't wait to save people. Another day passed, and the winner was determined again. Jiang Changkong swept his opponents. On the 4th day, the competition was still ongoing. Some of the losers were still fighting. It was only in the evening that the competition finally came to an end. And Shanha flew into the air and said with a thunderous voice, "This time, we will not rest for a day. For everyone to earn more star stones, we will rest for half a day. The Federation will treat your injuries and restore your star power for free. You will recover to your peak." Jiang Changkong was slightly stunned. Is this considered an extra round? We can't wait anymore. This is the only way to help them recover quickly and continue the competition, Yao Ming said casually. Half a day was enough for them to rest and recover. Besides, the Federation would help them recover for free. None of the contestants objected to such a good deal. After half a day's rest, the competition continued. Jiang Changkong looked at his opponents. They're really unlucky. Sha Jingma isn't very good, but they're still the rematch. They have no problem getting a place. Yao Ming looked at his opponent and said. Jiang Changkong flew into the air and arrived at the battlefield. The team of 9 had already arrived. Chiang Kai-sheng, it's been a long time. Sha Jingma cupped her hands. Jiang Changkong smiled and said, I've missed you very much these days. If we have time, let's have a drink again. Sha Mao is deeply honored by Chiang Kai-sheng's invitation. Sha Jingma laughed heartily and cupped his hands again. This time, I hope that President Jiang will be lenient. Make one move and let us lose with some dignity. President, you're overestimating him and belittling us. We're stronger than Haidafu. The other 8 people were all shocked. Even Haidafu could hurt Jiang Changkong. They should be able to fight him, right? Jiang Changkong smiled. I'll grant you your wish with one move. Watch out. Sha Jingma's face darkened. She jumped up, stirring up a cloud of yellow sand. The other 8 people also stirred up the yellow sand and gathered their star power. A sandstorm swept across the sky. Yellow sand billowed like a sandstorm. The 9 people hid in the sandstorm without leaving a trace. Universe shift. A Tai Chi diagram emerged around Jiang Changkong. The black and white Tai Chi diagram enveloped the battlefield and suppressed the sandstorm. The Tai Chi spun, and the universe shifted. The sand and dust were reversed, and the yellow sand was sent flying. Boom! The sandstorm exploded, and the yellow sand dissipated. 9 figures fell out at the same time, vomiting blood. Thank you, Chiang Kai-sheng, for showing mercy. Sha Jingma wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and cupped her hands. You're welcome. Jiang Changkong waved his hand and left in the air. It's really one move. Has this guy already surpassed the prodigies? How did he train? The 8 teammates were at a loss, but there was fear in their eyes. This strength was too terrifying. Chang Kong, let's have a chat. The host, and Shanha, invited him with a smile. Jiang Chang Kong was slightly taken aback. He nodded and said, "Okay." Had his performance attracted the attention of a high-level martial artist? Sha Jingma's team was comparable to a prodigy. Without the corresponding means, a prodigy would also be defeated by them. However, such a team still couldn't take one move from Jiang Changkong. Correspondingly, a prodigy couldn't take one move either. He wondered if the Nan family's prodigy could fight him with part of the characteristics of the astral body.